Why do I go to Elmhurst College?
I'm close to everything.
I need a great school at a great price.
I'm learning about myself and my role in the world.
I love a challenge.
I'm dreaming big.
But feel totally at home.
I want an education with meaning.
I want to be a champion for others. I made connections for life.
I'm ready for the real world. Why do I go to Elmhurst College?
To reach my full potential.
Welcome you to beautiful Elmhurst Field, Blue Jay Football 2019. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Kruger. Delighted to bring you all the action. I'm joined by Jeff Torzeski. The Blue Jays, their season opener here this afternoon, taking on the Spartans of Aurora University. The Spartans, having played last week, knocked off St. Norbert by a score of 50-40. So AU comes into this game with a record of 1-0. And Jeff, for the Blue Jays, sort of a new era as Jeff McDonald, the new head coach of the Blue Jays.
New era starting off here on campus today at Elmhurst Field. And yeah, just kind of a buzz, around spring ball when Coach McDonald got hired, carried over obviously into a fall. By all accounts, they had a very successful fall camp, a little bit longer than usual just based on the fact that their bye week was already last week, week 1. But good buzz around campus, and we're excited to see the new era of Blue Jay football.
It is an absolute gorgeous afternoon for football. The Blue Jays, by the way, did win the toss and elected to receive. 75 degrees under sunny skies. A bit of a breeze coming out of the west from left to right, but the wind should not be a factor in this afternoon's game. It's ideal weather conditions here today.
Couldn't ask for a better piece of weather to start the season off, and good crowd on hand on both sides of the field here. Aurora obviously nearby, traveling pretty close to Elmhurst College.
So Sean Kerr tees the ball up for the Spartans. And we are underway here at beautiful Elmhurst Field. Blue Jays bring it up to about the 24-yard line. There is a penalty marker down on the play, however.
Flag early on the return, kind of in that backfield area, probably a block in the back or something of the sort. When you see a flag, that deep, usually it's on the returning team.
Referee Jeremy Reed.
Penalty flag on the play.
Well, you got that exactly right, Jeff.
Block in the back. So long field to start here for the Elmhurst office. Not only new head coach, obviously, with Coach McDonald, but Pat McAvoy, the new offensive coordinator here at Elmhurst College. So it'll be exciting to see with Jake Dehaney, kind of a veteran at the helm here, but a new OC for the Blue Jays, and excited to see what they can do on their first possession here.
Seth Carson, the defensive coordinator. Coach McDonald brought him over from Illinois Wesleyan. Coach McDonald, by the way, the last 2 years was the defensive coordinator for the Titans. So he is quite familiar with the CCIW. Jake Dehaney out of the gun. And the first give is to Treston Womack, the 5'7" senior, as he brings it straight up the middle. Let's introduce to you the offensive unit for the Blue Jays here. Up front on the left side, as you see Womack get a couple of yards. On the left side of the line, Danny Jones and Thomas Wargo. They replaced a couple of seniors in Zach Dixon and Jeremy Allen. Nick Pulio returns at center, and on the right side, Shea Kent and Chandler Cowan returns at right tackle, big number 77. Womack again the ball carrier, and he will get it close to the 20-yard line. It'll bring up third down and call it 2 yards to go.
You're going to see a couple of running backs in the backfield for Elmhurst between Womack and Brock Bethke. A couple of seniors I actually had the pleasure of coaching when they were freshmen, so good to see them get on the field early here for the Jays.
Third down and 2 now. Casey Dobchek now split up to the top of her screen in the slot. Third down and a couple, and again they keep it on the ground, and boy, Womack gets across the 20, close to the 21. It's going to be a couple yards short, so the punting unit is going to come in here.
Pretty straightforward series there for Elmhurst, going to Womack, 3 straight plays there, close to good 8 yards here to start. But Aurora defensively, that 50-40 final score last week was a little deceptive in the fact that the 40 points they gave up, a lot of that was in the second half. So a pretty good defense here for the Spartans.
So Matt Burns will punt it away here for Elmhurst. 3 and out on the opening possession for the Blue Jays. Bit of a short punt, but it's going to take a Blue Jay roll, and it's going to stop just outside the 40-yard line, and that's where this AU offense will come out. Gavin Zimbelman, the junior quarterback, put up some incredible numbers last week in that win against St. Norberg. He was 33 of 52 for nearly 500 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, and Jeff, no interceptions.
Yeah, the Spartans put up over 600 yards of offense last week against a top 25 ranked opponent in St. Norbert, and Zimbelman was on the D3.com Team of the Week last week for his efforts.
Should mention, of course, that the Spartans are under new leadership as well. Don Beebe, as a little crossing pattern underneath here, Travis Davis, and he will get about a 4-yard pickup to the 44-yard line. Don Beebe, of course, 9 years in the National Football League, 6 Super Bowl appearances, 4 with the Bills and a couple with the Packers.
And a title with the Packers.
He got one. Yeah, he got one with the Packers.
Good fill by Stephen Postman on the last play there defensively.
Second down and 6. Again, it's a screen to Davis. And again, it was Postman coming up to make the hit, but it's right to midfield, so it's going to bring up, well, about third down and about a yard to go.
Both teams going up-tempo here to start the game off, kind of a signature of a Don Beebe offense.
No, yeah, you bet. No huddle offense here. Third down, call it a yard. To the far side this time, underneath pattern, and the pass is caught for a gain of 4. It will be a first down all the way down to the 46-yard line, 47-yard line of the Blue Jays.
Good start offensively here for the Spartans, obviously at the tempo, but one thing I'm seeing defensively for the Jays, doing a good job so far in the secondary, wrapping up. So something good to see. They worked on obviously in camp, but good form on the secondary for the tackles so far.
Lavore Little, Luke Kuhn, Clayton Smith, Andrew Mink up front for the Blue Jays. Zimbelman, deep drop, and that pass incomplete. Intended for number 89 there. That's Michael Boland, a freshman out of Huntley, Illinois.
Good pocket there by the Aurora offensive line. Zimbelman had plenty of time to scan the field, but coverage in the backfield by Elmhurst quite good on that play, and a little off-kilter throw there by Zimbelman.
Second down, 10 yards to go now for the Spartans. Going in motion is Davis, and they hand it off to Davis, trying to cut back inside. He gets to the 40 and brought down from behind to the 37-yard line, right where the first down marker is at.
Good little sprint there by Davis to get close to a first down there. He's listed as a freshman here too, so getting experience right away in this Aurora offense. Another short yardage situation here though for the Spartans.
Well, they've got 4 wide receivers now to the bottom of your screen here. Third down and about a yard to go here. Zimbelman bobbled it. Now throws, fires to the far side, and again, another completion. Coverage on the play, Sean Jay, but another first down inside the 25, and Zimbelman is right on target today so far.
Sean Jay on the tackle there, playing on the outside for the Jays. You know, he was the leading tackler for Elmhurst last year, and he brings a wealth of experience to that secondary. So expect to hear his name quite a bit coming from the defensive secondary today for Elmhurst.
Yeah, 79 tackles a year ago. He also had a couple of interceptions last year, so he'll be the leader of that Blue Jays secondary.
Movement there on the Spartans, so that'll back him up a little bit here. You know, they are moving the ball quite well here and with that tempo offense, and, you know, it doesn't necessarily miss a beat when you get penalized because they're right up to the line of scrimmage right away after the whistle.
Offensive line of the Spartans giving Zimbelman some good protection. Bodie Steber, Oscar Nava, Jackson Nazos, Grant Palmer, Mike Merrick, the offensive line for Aurora University. Pass, complete. Matt Everett with the reception, and he gets shoved out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. And AU rolling here on its opening possession.
Tanner King on the tackle there for the Jays. He's starting a middle linebacker right now, and he's a kid that it's his second year with the program. Didn't get to play it all last year, but he's become a leader on that defense, and expect to hear another name you'll hear a lot from that defensive side will be Tanner King.
10 minutes remaining here in this opening quarter. We thank you for logging on to BlueJayTV.com.
There's actually going to be a false start here on Aurora. Even though they were shuffling players in and out from the sideline, caught the tail end of it, so I didn't exactly see the entire infraction, but I did see the flag fly up, and pretty early for a snap infraction call, but nonetheless, 1st and 15 again.
Second penalty of the game for AU. 1st and 15 for the Spartans. Zimbelman looking left, little slant pattern, pass is complete, and it's a touchdown. 15 yards. Jacoby Maxwell from Gavin Zimbelman, and the Spartans are on the board first.
Pretty efficient drive there by Aurora to start the game here, and that's something that, you know, they came out last week. I caught the first half of that game, and they did the same thing against St. Norbert's defense. First drive just went right down the field, and very similar to what they did here this week.
Zimbelman setting all kinds, as the extra point, by the way, is good to make it 7-0. Last week, Zimbelman set all kinds of school records. We mentioned the 7 touchdowns. 33 completions. He had a 92-yard touchdown pass as well. And boy, they're picking up right where they left off from last week.
And that's something, too, that is, you know, fairly to be expected in terms of what Coach Beebe is bringing to this team. You know, they were picked to finish first place in the Northern Athletics Conference this year. So they're playing teams like Wisconsin Lutheran and Eureka College, and Benedictine is also in that league. So they're picked to finish first there. And you know, when you're putting up numbers like that back-to-back weeks and throughout the season, that's you'll definitely see them on the top half of that conference list.
Getting back to Don Beebe. Of course, perhaps one of the most memorable moments of him in his pro days was in that Super Bowl 27 against the Cowboys, when Leon Lett recovered a fumble and he was on his way to the end zone, but Don Beebe tracked him down from behind and knocked it loose and went through the end zone for a touchback.
He was also on the field when Desmond Howard scored the kickoff return for the Packers, so I remember that one a little bit better. I'm a Packer fan. So.
Okay.
16 from the 5.
Well, from the 5-yard line is Justin Parbs, and again, straight up the middle he goes, and a pretty nice return as he crosses the 30, Jeff, to the 33-yard line. Boy, they didn't tell me you were a Packer fan coming to this game.
Well, born and raised Wisconsin,
okay.
So you know, been down here for a few years. But yeah, so I guess if that's my only downfall while we're up here, I guess that's all right. So good return there by Parbs, fellow Wisconsinite actually. Parbs he's from Brookfield area, so he's a sophomore. So he got some. He got on the field a little bit last year in the return game as well. So they definitely have some experience on the return game too. Elmhurst does.
Brock Bethke back there now as the featured back. Casey Dobchek is the man in motion here. Second possession of the afternoon. The handoff is to Bethke. Breaks a couple of tackles, picks up 11 and a first down for the Blue Jays out to the 43.
Little zone play there by Elmhurst. Good run by Bethke. You'll see them both, Bethke and Womack, and Bethke's going to be more your between the tackles kind of guy. But
first and 10 from the 44 as the Blue Jays go no huddle. Bethke again the ball carrier, and he gets to the line of scrimmage. May have even lost a yard as they spot him back at the 43.
One thing, too, you alluded to it earlier, Mark, about a little bit of youth on the Elmhurst offensive line with Jones and Wargo starting now. But there's also, Pulio and Cowan's he's basically a 3-year starter at this point. So there is some experience, and you'll probably see a little bit more run to the right side with Cowan over there.
Second down and 11. Haney rolling this way. A little bit of a pump fake. Pass, and it is complete. And did he stay in bounds? Yes, that was Dimitri Valcourt, the senior wideout from Naples, Florida, to the 49-yard line.
Good to see Valcourt make that catch early, start his senior year off right. Another kid that's been in the program for 4 years, and finally getting the chance to show himself a little bit here, and it's good to see.
Jeff McDonald, mentioned him, the new head coach, replacing Ron Plans, who Coach Plans now the head coach at Lake Zurich High School.
Beat Zion last night, so the first win as the head coach at LZ.
Bears now 1-2. Third down, 5 yards to go now for the Blue Jays, trying to pick up the first down. Loft it, and just over the head. And that's going to be incomplete. The intended target there, Ben Frederick. And fourth down now, and see what Coach McDonald decides to do here. And it looks like they're going to punt it away here. Matt Burns coming in.
Good poise there by Haney. Looks like they're going to stay on the field offensively here.
Okay. We'll change of venue here. So the offense back out. Bethke now flanked to the right of Haney.
Tight ends to the trip side here, so they got 4 eligible guys on the right side of the field here. But
fourth down and 5 from their own 49-yard line. Bethke dives forward for a gain of 2. Actually, 1, they're going to spot it at the 50-yard line, so it's going to come up short. AU has the ball back on downs.
Don't mind that there by Elmhurst offensively to try to get the wrong personnel for Aurora on the field. Didn't work out, but obviously it's something that you can try early on here, just to trying to change the shift momentum a little bit. But now you have a pretty potent offense given a short field, so we'll see if Elmhurst can buckle down here defensively.
First and 10 Spartans, 7:42 remaining here in the opening quarter. 7-0 in favor of the visiting Spartans. From midfield, Zimbelman has time, fires, and pass complete to Maxwell on the far side. Maxwell had a huge game last week, Jeff. 5 catches, 175 yards. One of those catches was that 92-yard touchdown catch.
Maxwell he's a graduate transfer, played his undergrad years at Monmouth, so accustomed to a pretty good college program, obviously, with Monmouth College, and helping out Aurora now for his grad year.
Pickup of 19 down to the 31-yard line, first and 10. Spartans. Zimbelman. Quick hit out in the flat here to the near side. Pass complete once again.
Boland with the catch.
It's number 89. That's Boland.
Pretty similar in terms of personnel with both teams using some younger guys. Bowen's a freshman listed, freshman from Huntley. So a lot of youth between the two teams here that are getting on the field early.
5 yards on that reception by Boland. Second down, we'll call it 6. Zimbelman gets forced out of the pocket. Now he'll tuck it under and just run. Blue Jays looking for a late hit. Not going to get it, however. No flag.
Looked like Aurora was trying to set up a bit of a screen. That's why they actually, Elmhurst did have some good pressure on that regardless. But close call with the play with the sideline there. But now you got a 3rd and 5, so hopefully Elmhurst here defensively can tighten up.
Last week the Spartans 6 of 16 on third down conversions, 38%. see what they do here. 3rd down and 6. From the 26-yard line, it's Zimbelman. Long count. Quick look to the left. Again, that slant pattern, and it's going to be a 1st down inside the 20. So the Spartans in the red zone, 1st and 10 at the 19.
On that 3rd and 5, you looked at the secondary. It was a bit of a zone look, so the D-backs were backed off a fair amount, which left the front end of the field open there. Innes came up and made a good tackle, but enough yardage there for the Spartans for another 1st down.
Yeah, that slant pattern, they did that a whole bunch last week against St. Norbert. A little bit of a pump fake now going into the end zone. The diving effort by Matt Everett through his fingertips, and it's incomplete.
Little pump there by Zimbelman, kind of caught the corner off guard there, and you're right, Everett was wide open there, but just a little bit overthrown. And 2nd and 10 here coming up for Aurora.
And you're logged on to BlueJayTV.com. We're also streaming live on Livestream and YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Zimbelman. And a rare run this time, and wrapped around and brought down to the 16-yard line.
Tanner King on the stop there. Looked like Luke Kuhn got in there a little bit. Kuhn's been on the team now. This is his 3rd year, I believe. Junior from Barrington High School. So, there is a lot of experience just scattered around this roster on both the offense and defensive sides, but good play there by King and Kuhn both.
Malik White was the ball carrier, junior out of Seattle, Washington. 3rd down and 7 now. And Zimbelman is going to flush out here to the near side. Now he's going to tuck it under, gets inside the 15, and out of bounds at the 12.
Looks like it's going to be short by a yard and a half or so here, so it is going to bring up a 4th down for the Spartans. So far, personnel-wise, they haven't adjusted here.
17th.
Like they're going to go.
17th meeting between these two schools. The Blue Jays lead the overall series 10-4. There have been 2 ties in the series. 4th call it a yard now, as Zimbelman goes back to the gun.
Slot's wide open here to the tall side of the field.
Zimbelman looking that way, and the pass is complete. It's Maxwell with the reception inside the 10, and it's going to be 1st and goal for AU.
A little bit of a backed off coverage there for a 4th down and short play. Both slots were pretty much wide open there, and Zimbelman found his guy. And yeah, Maxwell, same guy as last week, who had all the receptions for the Spartans.
Jeremy Innes with the tackle, number 2 for the Blue Jays. 1st and goal now. Zimbelman is going to throw, and he's got his man, and again, that is Maxwell for the touchdown. 6 yards from Zimbelman to Maxwell.
Good zip on the ball there by Zimbelman. Can't say anything else about it. I mean, he was under pressure there a little bit. Actually, safety came across and almost could have made a play on the ball, but enough zip on that for Maxwell to make the catch, and 13-0.
9 plays, 50 yards for the Spartans.
To attempt the extra point.
But we spoke to it earlier. I mean, that's when you give a potent offense a short field, you're kind of putting your back against the wall early. And there was a couple chances there, Elmhurst defensively, to make a stop on some key downs, but Aurora offensively was able to, capitalize on, again, the short field. So that's why we're at 14-0 right now.
Sean Kerr with the extra point, and it is now 14-0 with 4:14 remaining here in the opening quarter.
Elmhurst is showing too defensively, in terms of they're not really dialing up the pressure that much, but coverage-wise, not too bad, and they're getting pressure on the quarterback a little bit here and there. So, there is some speed. They're a little bit of an undersized defense, but there's definitely some speed to be able to get to the quarterback. If they can sustain a little bit more pressure, and hopefully, pin them back a little bit deeper than the 50-yard line and be able to kind of turn the field around a little bit here.
Well, last year, first quarter scoring was an issue for the Blue Jays. The entire first quarter last season managed just 20 points.
And even last year when Elmhurst defeated Aurora, they were down for a good chunk of that game, obviously including the first quarter, but I think it was like a 14-9 score at halftime. Aurora was in the lead.
Yeah, 13-9. This is Womack from the 6. Womack with some room across the 30, 35, still going 40. He's across midfield, and he brings it down to the 40-yard line of Aurora University. So the best opening field position of a drive for the Blue Jays.
Great return by Womack there to get it on the right side of the 50. Great return set up there by the Elmhurst kickoff return unit. Chris Kirkpatrick, the former offensive line coach and now the defensive line coach, but he heads up all the special teams for the Jays and set up a really good return there. And like I said, they're on the right side of the 50 here to start this drive.
Back to what you alluded to last year at Aurora University, first quarter yards in that game, Aurora University 180 and the Blue Jays had just 17. But a couple of touchdown passes from Orlando Hernandez to Joanne Gaines, and the Blue Jays came from behind to win that one. 3 field goals by Blake Bailey as well. First and 10 from the 44-yard line. Tahaney under pressure. Now he lets it go, and he's got his man. That's Casey Dobchek, and Dobchek is brought down at the 30-yard line to pick up a 14.
Little rollout game there by Tahaney, and that's one thing you're going to see a lot of offensively with the Jays this year. Is Tahaney a smart kid? He's gonna make the right decisions 90% of the time, but he can also improvise and use his feet a little bit there, and did a great job finding Dobchek on the sideline.
Really showed a lot of poise under duress. Now they hand it off Tristan Womack, and Womack will get about 3.
On that play before on the first down to Dobchek there, he did have Womack going basically on a wheel route on the outside, and he looked open early, and I think he was going to go to him, and then kind of changed his mind quickly and found Dobchek on the complete other side of the field.
Valcourt is down at the bottom of your screen. Tahaney, one of 4 quarterbacks last year that saw time. Going to throw it. Valcourt was well covered that time by Keon Adams. But last year, Tahaney was 8 of 12 throwing for 110 yards. He did have a touchdown. He ran 11 times, but did not see a lot of action a year ago.
Injuries too, that was an issue, and he was used a little bit at receiver last year, and that speaks to his athleticism, obviously. But I think his right position is definitely quarterback in terms of just what he's got between the ears and how he leads the team as well.
Out of the eye now, 3rd down and 8 as we approach the 3-minute mark of this opening quarter. Blue Jays looking to get on the board here, trailing 14-0. 3rd and 8, and a flag coming down. Did they
delay?
I was just going to say, did they get the playoff in time? Jeremy Reed telling us no. 5-yard penalty.
So you're going to look at a little 3rd and long here. I mean, you're inside the 35 here yet, so you're definitely 4-down territory. So you don't have to get all of it technically right now, but
3rd and 13, need to get to the 20, and Tahaney gets brought down and sacked by Blake Martz.
As soon as I say it's 4-down territory, I stand corrected. A little rollout area there. Bethke needs to do a little bit better of a job, sustaining that block. Basically got in his face, and Tahaney was right behind him, and you're quickly out of field goal / 4-down territory with a play like that. But a good job by Aurora defense there to hold them up.
Blake Martz with his 3rd sack, I should say, of the season. He had 2 sacks to go along with 5 tackles last week in that win against St. Norbert. Short punt. And this one is going to take a Blue Jay roll and stay in bounds and get to inside the 10-yard line, spotted at the 8. So nice job, special teams. And 2:07 remaining here in the opening quarter. Spartans with the ball again.
Matt Burns there with the punt, freshman from St. Charles East High School. So getting an early taste of college experience. But yeah, good punt there. Off the foot, it didn't look tremendous, but it got the right roll, and this will be the worst field position to start the day for Aurora.
Boy, let's see if the Blue Jay defense can create a turnover here. Ball officially spotted at the 9-yard line for Zimbelman and the Spartans. 1st and 10. Zimbelman is going to roll out here the near side throw, and he throws it out of bounds. Looked like a little miscommunication there. Matt Everett, number 12, was the closest guy there. Also number 89, Boland, was there.
Good pressure there by Elmhurst. Zach Hazelhoff, he's a junior. He's got on the field quite a bit the last 3 years for Elmhurst, so not a lot of options there for Zimbelman when he's getting rushed down by the end zone like that. So hopefully, they can sustain that pressure and get to the quarterback.
2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. And Zimbelman is going to hand it off, and boy, all kinds of room up the middle there as Travis Davis brings it across the 25 for a 1st down for the Spartans.
They don't run the ball too much. One thing we're seeing here, when they go spread, when they have 3 or 4 receivers, pretty standard 3-step or quick out of the balls out of the quarterback's hands, but they bring an H-back in sometimes, and that's where they're running more of those inside power plays that they're now able to get some yards on. So suspect a little bit more on the inside game here for Aurora sometimes.
Davis brought it out to the 27-yard line, 1st down and 10, and back-to-back running plays. Short gain on the play for AU to bring up 2nd down and call it 7.
Aurora personnel in a little bit here. I mean, they have a lot of receivers that they go to. I think there was over 8 or 9 receivers that had catches last week against St. Norbert, and they're utilizing a lot of guys this week as well.
Yeah, 9 receivers caught at least 2 catches last week in that win. 2nd down and 7. Pressure now. Zimbelman steps up and gets out of it. Sprints to the far side, and he gets brought out of bounds. Chased on the play by Zach Hazelhoff.
Good pressure there by Zach Hazelhoff, and unfortunately we got an Elmhurst player down now on that play. Can't catch a number on it, but Elmhurst athletic training staff, Katie Serpico's out there. She's been with the team for a couple of years now.
Of course, the season opener here today for the Blue Jays. We should mention that the rest of the season for the Blue Jays, as far as their home games go, boy, they've got some tough ones here. October 5th, Carthage. October 19th, Illinois Wesleyan. November 2nd, North Central, and then November 16th, Wheaton.
It's a week-to-week grind in the CCIW.
Sure is, yeah.
I mean, it's
welcome
one of
to the CCIW, right, Jeff?
Now you usually, when you schedule your non-conference, it's kind of a break, so to speak, or kind of something in terms of competition compared to the league we're in. But where Aurora's at right now in their league, it's about as good as it gets in the NACC. So there's no breaks this year for Elmhurst, and especially when you have your bye week 1 of the season, you're going 10 straight weeks of highly competitive football.
Tyler Jolly looks to be the injured man, number 99, 6'1" junior.
Jolly's another guy who's been with the team for a few years and got some extensive playing time last year, and hopefully this isn't anything too serious. But he's a guy that obviously he's a Florida kid too, which obviously the level athletes in the state of Florida. He's a pretty darn good athlete, so it's tough to see him. So hopefully can get on the field shortly here.
Yeah, not applying that much pressure on that leg, so we wish him obviously the best. Next week, by the way, the Blue Jays will be in Rock Island to take on Augustana. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff. That's the only night game the Blue Jays will have this season. Everything else will be at 1 o'clock. 3rd down and 7 now for Zimbelman and the Spartans. Actually, 3rd down, call it 3 yards to go. They need to get to the 37.
No tight ends, no H's here in the game for Aurora.
Zimmelman steps up. Oh, he's going to have the first down and more as he's going to slide. Boy, that wasn't the best looking slide there, but he got it done down to the 47.
Just enough to get the whistle blown, I guess, there.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
Yeah, that's I just alluded to it. They spread them out there on third down, so you don't have a very full box there for Elmhurst defensively, and basically, that's a designed quarterback draw.
And it doesn't look like the Spartans will get another playoff, so that is the end of the opening quarter here at Langhorst Field. Season opener for the Blue Jays, and it's the visiting Spartans of Aurora University leading at the end of one, 14-0. Mark Kruger along with Jeff Torzeski. And our crew of Glenn Liljeberg, Dennis Bergen. We're glad you're with us and logged on to BlueJayTV.com. Well, if you go back to last year, Jeff, it was 13-0 AU at the end of one, and the Blue Jays came back to win that one, so hopefully they can do the same thing here at home.
Well, and I think, too, when you're playing a team week one that's already got a full normal week under their belt in terms of game preparation and actually having an opponent, it's a little bit different, mindset. You're not 100%, sure on everything, and you're not polished, So, a full 4 quarters in the first week of the season is going to look a lot different than, mid-season and towards the end. So hopefully Coach McDonald, Coach Carson here defensively can kind of get those guys straightened up a little bit. But, one thing I said earlier in the game, I'm very impressed with how Elmhurst is playing, though, with players at the ball in their hands. Wrapping up, tackling, finishing, driving through guys. They can tackle, and it's good. So hopefully, on the front end of things here, they're able to make a few stops and get the ball back in a decent field position.
Zimbelman, by the way, in the first quarter was 11 of 14 passing for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's picking right where he left off. He threw for 497 yards last week.
And they're controlling the clock, right now. That's another thing. Obviously, when you have a team that's no huddle and kind of runs an up-tempo offense, they're quick strikes, so they don't possess the clock as much. But right now, they are leading the time of possession battle, and a little bit of that has to do with, obviously, the 3-and-outs by Elmhurst offensively. But they are controlling the clock as well right now, is Aurora.
Total yardage in that opening quarter as the Spartans open up the second quarter on the ground. Just getting across midfield to the 49-yard line of the Blue Jays, so it is going to be a pickup of 4.
LeVar Little in on the stop there for the Jays. He's a senior captain from Chicago, North Lawndale High School, and one of the emotional leaders of that Elmhurst defense, and he's a great kid, so it's good to see him contributing as much as he is as a senior.
Zimbelman steps up now, looks, throws, and he's got his man. That's Maxwell once again, and Maxwell gets tripped up, fumbles, but they say he was already down at the 34-yard line to pick up a 15. 1st and 10 for the Spartans, and we've got is that Sean J, number 1? I can't. He's down on his right knee.
That is Sean J.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Going for the ball, it looked like there, after the ball had hit the ground. This would be unfortunate if this is anything serious because, like I said earlier, Jay's been a guy that's been on the field a lot for Elmhurst over the last couple of years. Junior from Dundee Crown High School. But just kind of you can put him in the defensive backfield at safety. He played some safety, play some corner. But, another leader of that defense you don't want to see off the field.
And fortunately, he is walking off under his own power, and so hopefully he'll be okay. A couple moments ago, Tyler Jolly was helped off.
5 and wide 10 here. Sorry about that.
No. Yeah, 3 to the bottom of your monitor. Zimbelman with time, fires. He's got his man again, Maxwell, down to the 28-yard line, a pickup of 6.
They're going to flag Elmhurst here for a roughing the passer here. Kind of right on the cusp there of being able to call that or not, but the ball was out.
Roughing the passer, number 31, the defense. That foul being forced past the distance to goal. Result play is now. 1st down.
Oh my!
So well, King gets called for that.
Tanner King, sophomore, middle linebacker.
Again, I mean, obviously, that's one of those 50-50 calls where you could probably go either way. But, you know, I'm going to give the quarterback the benefit of the doubt there. The ball's out, and, you know, you're trying to protect those guys. So, but now it's 1st and 10.
From the 15-yard line, Zimbelman, 3 wide receivers to his right, and he throws it into the end zone. No one home there. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Boland was the closest receiver.
Good coverage there. Tristan James, sophomore from Bluffton, South Carolina.
Yeah,
in the lineup.
that's secondary, Jeff, for the Blue Jays. I mean, Jay's a sophomore. James Innes is a sophomore. That's a young secondary.
Young secondary, but guys that have been on the field, you know, last year. They were very young last year defensively, and you know, so even though it's, you know, a lot of freshmen and sophomore, they definitely do have on-field experience previous to today.
Postman is a junior. Yeah, he saw a lot of time last year as well. And there's a pass into the end zone. Was it caught? 2 officials looking at each other. I thought it hit the ground, but no, they're saying touchdown.
Look good from here. Let's check the monitor. But, I mean, that's basically the same look that they had on the last play. This time it was just not as tight a coverage there, but Maxwell again with another touchdown reception.
Yeah, looking at the replay, it looked like it was a good catch. So another touchdown by Maxwell.
He's busy these last 2 weeks. A lot of receptions, and he's found the end zone multiple times in both games so far this season for the Spartans.
3rd touchdown catch of the game so far for Maxwell after he had 2 touchdowns last week. So Maxwell with a total of 5 touchdowns on the year so far. Extra point makes it 21-0 Spartans.
Well, hopefully here, you know, last time out on the return game, Elmhurst did get the ball on the right side of the 50. Womack had a really good return up to the Aurora 40-yard line, so hopefully another solid return here to set Elmhurst up offensively. When you take a look at this return team for Elmhurst, it's a lot of guys that, you know, they're on the field whether or not they're on offense or defense. But, you know, I'm looking on the front, you know, the front 6 right there. You got Marco Huxhold, who's a linebacker for Elmhurst, obviously, that's getting in there quite a bit. Hayden Beck is a tight end for Elmhurst that sees the field a fair amount. And Logan Teckenton, a wide receiver. So, I mean, there's a lot of athletes on this return team for Elmhurst that, you know, can obviously help with getting the ball up the field a little bit better than most. So.
Sean Kerr will get ready to kick it off here for AU. Womack and Parbs are the deep men for the Blue Jays here. 13:40 remaining here in this first half. It's the Blue Jays season opener taking on the 1-0 AU Spartans. Kerr with a low bouncer taken by one of the up guys and just going to be downed at the 30-yard line. That was Brock Bethke.
Bethke plays it safe there and just falls on it. Obviously, Aurora on the special team side is respecting the Elmhurst KOR unit, and you know that also speaks to, you know, the kind of, I don't want to say the inability, but you know Elmhurst hasn't moved the ball quite well so far today, so they're able to give up a little bit of field on the kick to kick it that way to keep the ball out of the return's hands.
Tahaney, by the way, in the first quarter threw the ball 4 times, 2 of 4 for 20 yards.
Dobchek and Valcourt with the receptions in the first quarter for Elmhurst, a couple of seniors.
And so now Tahaney is going to step up, and he is going to get wrapped up, and it's going to be a sack. A loss of 5 back to the 25-yard line as the protection just collapsed there.
Robert Stark on the sack there for the Spartans. You look at Aurora defensively up front. They got some big boys up there.
Will Ferguson, number 99, is 6 foot 270. 3rd sack for Stark. He had 2 sacks last week.
Their nose, Jalen Cole. He's a 6'4" freshman from Minooka High School.
4-yard loss, 2nd down and 14. Womack, and he gets tripped up at the 35-yard line, brought down by Cole Sin, the senior middle linebacker.
Little misdirection there by Elmhurst offensively. Good run by Womack. Got through the first level quite easy and almost got past that second level and had some green ahead of him. Manageable 3rd down here, though, offensively for the Jays.
Blue Jays 24% on third down conversions last season. They've got a 3rd down and 6 now. They need to get to the 40-yard line to pick up the first. 12:20 remaining here in the first half. Tahaney rolling out to his left, plants his feet, stops, fires, incomplete. Dimitri Valcourt was the intended receiver, and now 4th down and the punting unit coming in.
Devin Whitaker on the coverage there for the Spartans. Good coverage there by him. He's a guy that had a good season last year for the Spartans, as well as last week against Norbert on the field quite a bit. But that was a little bit of pressure there in the front 7 by the Spartans. Didn't give Tahaney a ton of time to set up and throws a little bit behind Valcourt there.
Matt Burns to punt it away. Gets off a high punt. Fair caught by James Martino at the 32-yard line, and so that's where the Spartans offensive unit going back to work, leading 21-0.
Okay punt there by Burns. Kind of an end over end. You don't typically see that too much from the punt game, but coverage got down well enough for the Jays, to warrant the fair catch. And now you got about 68 yards to go for Aurora offensively here. So again, Sean Jay's back on the field for the Jays, which is good to see. I don't think we're going to see Jolly back, unfortunately, but it's good to see Jay back out there right now for Elmhurst.
Yeah, Jolly has his right knee, right below his right knee, iced up, and yeah, you're right. I don't think he is going to return. Zimbelman with time, and his pass is complete to the far side. It's going to be across midfield into Blue Jay territory, spotted at the 48-yard line. 19-yard reception.
Everett on the catch there. Good poise again there by Zimbelman in the pocket. A little bit pressure off the edge there by the Jays, but got the throw off just in time. Now they're on the right side of the 50.
11:47 left to play in the first half. Zimbelman, straight drop, has time, sort of an off-balance pass, but it's complete to Jacoby Maxwell again.
Maxwell with the catch.
Just about a yard of a pickup, though, to the 47-yard line.
Postman coming down again from the safety spot. He does a great job filling, on the wide sides of the field there.
Gain of 1 on the play.
2nd down and 9 coming up here. Ball at the 47. Beautiful afternoon here in Elmhurst. Game time temperature of 75 degrees. Handing it off here, and misdirection all the way down. Well, the pickup down to the 44-yard line. It was Malik White with the carry. The tackle was Gene Baptist.
Little spread set there for the Spartans, a 3-by-1 set, and motioned the third receiver in, and that was Duncan. He looks a little bit more like a tight end, but obviously you motion him into the box, and they try to run a little bit of a power game there. But again, good fill by Elmhurst defensively.
Brings up now 3rd down and 6.
5 wide for Aurora.
To that far side, Maxwell, the intended receiver, through his hands, and it's going to be incomplete. So a nice job by the Blue Jay defense to hold. And now it looks like the punting unit coming on for the Spartans.
Good hold there by Elmhurst, and good to see the punt unit finally come on for the Spartans.
Yeah. Ryan Baston, 6'3" senior from Morton, Illinois, coming in to do the punting.
Got James and Jay back deep. You got 2 back deep there for Elmhurst.
Well, it looked like that was off the side of the foot by Baston, out of bounds. Blue Jays should get some pretty good field position here, depending on the spot. Looks like it's going to be right around the 30-yard line. Well, now they're moving it to the 26. Yeah.
It's always on the discretion of whatever officials over there. You never know.
That's got to be a tough call.
Move that up a yard or 2 or move it back a yard or 2. It's never truly defined. But
right.
Decent field position to start this drive, obviously, here for Elmhurst. And looks like you got Bethke in the backfield here, and hopefully try to sustain a little bit of a run game here with Friedrich in the backfield as well.
Now they're going to hand it off to Brock, but boy, he goes nowhere. He was met head on, loss of a couple.
No push there really for Elmhurst offensively, and it speaks to what we were talking about on the last drive with that Aurora defensive line. They're shoveling in and a lot of guys in and out on that defensive front, but when you have the personnel to do it, keeps guys fresh longer, and they're doing a good job of getting in the Elmhurst backfield.
Trips to the top, Frederick to the bottom of your screen. They throw to Frederick and a little behind to Ben. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and 12.
Frederick split out there as a wide receiver in one-on-one coverage, and a little bit of miscommunication there just on the throw from Tahaney, and turn around the run, the one way it might have been a completion, but just a split second off there, and brings up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, it is big 3rd down here. They need to get to the 36. 3rd down and 12. Tahaney out of the gun. Throwing it, and it's got Frederick, but it's going to be well short. Sean Reyna came up to make the tackle, and it's going to be 4th down.
Keen on Frederick there the last 2 plays, and obviously got him kind of in a one-on-one situation there, and had some space if you could get past that first level, but a good job Aurora defensively to take Ben Frederick down, and that's not an easy task. He's a big boy. He's a sophomore, got a lot of playing time last year, but he came in as a freshman from Crown Point, Indiana, and was a very highly touted tight end receiver for Elmhurst when he started as a freshman.
Speaking of freshmen, Matt Burns, the punter, he's been a busy man here this afternoon. And it takes a Blue Jay bounce as Martino lets it go.
Much better punt there from Burns. That's a great job there, and that'll give him a little bit more confidence. Hopefully, I don't mean this in a bad way. Hopefully we don't see him as much as we had in the first half so far, but that's a good way to boost the confidence up a little bit for the freshman punter and kicker as well.
All the way back to the 11-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 AU with 8:35 remaining here in this first half.
With the lead this far into the first half, it'll be interesting to see if the Spartans kind of slow down tempo a little bit here, control the clock a little bit more. I doubt it, just based on what I saw last week with them. But just with clock management here in the first half, they basically have an 8-minute drive here that could end the first half easily here.
All right, Zimbelman and the AU offense back to work here. 1st and 10 from their own 11. Quick hit to the far side, and it's picked off by Innes. And Innes is going to go back 10 yards for the touchdown.
Great awareness there by Jeremy Innes to not give up on the play, and the ball kind of came right into his hands. And you know what? If it's points on the board, and that's a good start here, and hopefully a momentum change. But not much Innes had to do other than say, oh my gosh, this thing's right in my face. I'm going to catch it here and run the quick little 10 yards.
Let's take another look at it there. And actually from the 15-yard pick 6 for Jeremy Innes, the sophomore corner.
And it was good. Elmhurst was lined up in a zone type of coverage there, which kind of was an off coverage, which if Innes is lined up in man and he's right on him a little more, the reaction probably would have been a little bit slower there, but
they're going to fake the extra point, and the 2-point conversion is good as the holder, Sean Jay, kept it, went up the middle, and so the 2-point conversion works.
Hey, that's a great look there, too, dialed up by the special teams coordinator there, Chris Kirkpatrick. If you're seeing something, on film the week before and they continue to do it, if they're lined up a certain way and they can expose it, that's obviously what Elmhurst did. Sean Jay, a versatile athlete, man. He's on the field obviously as a defensive back, but now holding the kicks, and basically probably got the green light from Coach Kirkpatrick. If you see some green space in the front of the D line, go ahead and take that thing yourself, and an extra point there on top of the so now we got 21-8.
Big for the Blue Jays just to get on the board. And the defense coming through. Jeremy Innes with the pick 6.
Innes, a sophomore from Chicago, played at De La Salle. And another one that, like I said earlier in the game, a guy that was kind of on the field early as a freshman last year. Played in about 3 games, ended up with 3 tackles on the season. But it's good to see this. The defense obviously giving up some big drives early on in the first half. Not quitting. Able to come away with some points. So.
Burns to kick it off here for the Blue Jays with 8:27 remaining here in this first half. 21-8. Spartans with the lead.
Kick in the air.
And this will be from the 8-yard line.
On the return.
Right across the 25, and he brings it to the 26-yard line for the Spartans.
Montez right there on the return for Aurora. So, yeah, the last time out, obviously a one-play drive, a pretty quick one there, alluded to the fact that, this point in the half, you can control the clock a little bit more. Well, now you only have a 2-score advantage, so expect to see Aurora probably keep the tempo up and try to get some more points on the board before halftime. But, of course, as soon as I say that, they're going to line up with an H-back and a tight end and run power. So we'll see what happens here.
Don Beebe will keep you guessing, won't he? Out of the gun here, Zimmelman indeed is going to hand it off. Ooh, what a big hit right there at the 30-yard line.
Tristan James coming down there from the safety spot with a nice hit there. But, they did motion the receiver into an H spot. So, if, 3 times they've done that, 3 times they've ran inside. So, obviously a good tell there by Elmhurst defensively.
White got his bell rung there, no question about it, by Tristan James. 2nd down and 6. White did pick up 4 yards, however, on the play. That quick hit to the far side, incomplete. Brooke Harner, the intended target.
Harner, the intended target, but that could have easily ended up in the hands of Innes there for a second pick. Gutsy throw there by Zimbelman. I mean, Innes got underneath that very quickly, and if he would have stayed on his feet and got there a split second earlier, he might have picked that thing off.
4 receivers to the bottom of your monitor. 3rd down and 6. Zimbelman looking that way. Fires that one, is picked off. Picked off by number 15, Nick Marino.
Great job there by Marino to stay with the route. A little bit underthrown here by Zimbelman, but when they come out with these 4 receiver sets, basically you're spread out here so much where there's going to be defensive guys in the lane. Not exactly sure what Zimbelman was looking at there where he was throwing because Marino is completely underneath that thing. You get a little bit comfortable with receivers. Obviously, that was intended for Maxwell, but Marino stuck with it and got underneath the throw, and Jays have a short field.
Boy, let's see if the defense can pump up the offense a little bit here. Tahaney is going to hand it off. Bethke get across the 40 down to the 38-yard line for a gain of 3. 2nd down, 7 yards to go.
Adams with the tackle.
Keon Adams was there to make the tackle. Adams with 10 tackles last week. Bethke again, the ball carrier. Bethke is loose, and it's picked up by the Spartans. And he's brought down at the 40-yard line, so the Blue Jays give the ball right back. Casey Dykes picked it up for the Spartans. Oh, man.
Just as I was going to say, that was a very patient run there by Bethke. Follow the blocks, get at least close to a 1st down, and then unfortunately gives the ball away. One thing I will say about that play, which was a positive for Elmhurst, is everybody was kind of standing still a little bit there. If you saw on the replay, and Dobchik had the right mind to just go and get the guy, because that could have easily gone the distance there for Aurora. So a heads-up play there by Dobchik to make the tackle.
So AU now with the ball 1st and 10 from its own 40-yard line. 6:39 remaining. And Zimbelman is going to hand the ball off Look like that's Davis
Small
as he
carrier.
gets to midfield. A pickup of 10. It'll be a first down for the Spartans.
This is the first play. I think Zimbelman's been under center all afternoon, and basically just a quick little ISO play that got stretched to the outside there by Davis. And now they're lined up in their normal gun set here with 4 receivers.
Right at midfield. And Zimbelman is going to keep it. He faked it to Davis, and now he slides at the 47. Sean Jay came in there at the very end just to make sure.
Zimbelman keeps trying to find the block there by Maxwell, and a good job there by a couple of Jays to get in and fill quickly there. And now you're left with second and about 7.
From the Blue Jay 47-yard line. Just under 6 minutes to go here, first half. 21-8. Blue Jay defense. Couple of big plays here in the second quarter. A little screen to Maxwell. Maxwell makes a move, breaks a tackle, and gets shoved out of bounds inside the 30 for an AU first down.
Maxwell probably close to almost 100 yards at this point here in the first half. Calling his name quite a bit. That's one time where, they motioned Duncan into the field, into the box, and typically there you're going to see some inside run there. But that time they kind of got the ball out to the outside, and another first down for the Spartans.
And it looks like Jeff McDonald and the Blue Jays are going to call a timeout here. 5:17 remaining here in this first half. 21-8.
Yeah, like you said, if 5 minutes or so here in the first half, if Aurora goes down and scores again, they're going to get the ball to start the second half as well. So hopefully Elmhurst here defensively can tighten up a little bit. Again, kind of a new regime here defensively with Coach Carson. Obviously, Coach McDonald's a defensive guy. Was the D coordinator at Illinois Wesleyan the last 2 years, and before that was at Wesleyan in Connecticut, and really helped turn that program around. I mean, they're I believe in the NESCAC, the New England Small College Association, which I think they play like the 8-game season and they don't go to the playoffs, but you got the teams like Bowdoin and Tufts and those schools, so you're playing some high academic but good athletic schools as well, and he really helped build that program, and I think got him to a conference championship in one of his last years there.
Of course, the Blue Jays part of that tough CCIW conference. Preseason coaches poll has North Central, the Cardinals, trying to win their 4th straight conference title. Ranked number 5 in the country in the preseason. Out to Maxwell, makes the move to the inside, breaks a couple of tackles, dives inside the 20 as he gets to the 19-yard line, a pickup of 11 and another first down.
Postman again in on the stop there for the Jays. You don't typically want your safeties to be your leading tacklers because that doesn't look great on the stat sheet, but he's having a good first half so far for Elmhurst.
First down and 10 now from the 19-yard line.
Watch this play here. Yeah, it's 30. Here's the spot, 19.
Going to hand it off. Here's Davis. There is a penalty marker down. Davis is still on his feet as he gets brought down to about the 2-yard line. Picked up 17, but there is a penalty flag down.
It's going to be an offensive call here on the Spartans. It may have been on the motion. When they motioned Tyler Duncan into the box, he may have been going forward a little bit. Illegal formation. I was totally wrong.
5-yard mark off, so that will put the ball back to the 24.
So another 1st and 15 here for the Spartans. On the last couple they've had on procedure penalties, they've capitalized quite well on those. It looks like they're going to go empty here with Zimbelman, the lone Spartan in the backfield.
First down and 15. Zimbelman has time, decides to dump it off underneath. The intended target was Travis Davis. Tanner King was breathing down his neck, and Davis just dropped it.
It's good to see her inside backers there. King staying on him pretty well. Probably heard footsteps a little bit and dropped that one. But King's a guy that can stretch the field quite a bit, from the linebacker spot. And, alluded to it earlier, this is really his first college experience, even though he's been with the program for his second season now.
Second down and 15. Screen pass, and he's going to go all the way. That's another touchdown for the Spartans.
Yeah, that's Travis Davis there.
Man.
And even though he didn't have really much in terms of catching the ball on that play, great cut block there by Maxwell on the outside to really open up a lane there for Davis to get into the end zone.
27-8 now, barring the extra point here for AU with 4:18 remaining in the half. Travis Davis had a couple of catches in last week's win. Has the touchdown catch here.
Kick is in the air.
Extra point by Kerr is good to make it 28-8 in favor of AU.
So another score there by the Spartans, but plenty of time here for Elmhurst to sustain a good drive, get some more points on the board, and hopefully carry the momentum into halftime. If they can set up here with a decent return, it'll be interesting to see what AU does here on the kickoff. If they do decide again to kind of squib it like they did on the last time to keep the ball out of either Parbs or Womack's hands. But if they do go deep and try to pin them, we'll see what happens here. But nonetheless, a good chance here on the scoreboard for Elmhurst. Enough time on the scoreboard, I should say, for Elmhurst to put some more points on before the half.
Blue Jays picked to finish 8th in the CCIW. Meanwhile, Aurora University picked to win the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference.
Finished tied for second last year. There was a long stretch of years there where Lakeland pretty much controlled the league, and obviously, Benedictine last week defeated Franklin College. I was actually at the game. The final score, I think, was 26-25. So when you can win, an early non-conference game against a really good opponent like Benedictine did, that's obviously going to bode well for the Eagles. But that's turning into a pretty tough conference. And actually, St. Norbert's going to be joining it for all sports next year.
All right.
First kick in the air.
Womack and Parbs. Parbs will pick it up around the 18 and just dive on it forward to the 21.
Yeah, not sure what Parbs was thinking there. It looked like he could have got underneath that on the initial kick without having to take a hop, but luckily he got on it in time because obviously, you watch football enough, that's a live ball once it hits the ground. So, the Jays fortunate here to get the ball halfway decent field position to start the drive.
4:15 remaining here in this first half. Jake Tahaney. Womack now is going to get the screen in the backfield, and he's going to cut it up maybe back to the line of scrimmage. And that's about it to the 21.
Try to get something going quickly here. You get the ball in the hands of your fast guys and get them out to the perimeter. Need a little bit of better job on the outside there, blocking by the Elmhurst receivers to kind of get Womack going up the field. But obviously, at this point in the half, you need to get, like I said, the ball in the hands of the speed guys.
Jeff, they gave him a yard, actually, to the 22, so it is second down, 9 yards to go. Fake it to Womack, stepping up now. Tahaney is going to let it fly, and an incomplete. Nice diving effort there by Valcourt, but it is going to bring up third down now.
Pocket almost broke down a little bit there on Tahaney, but another good, job by him to stay poised in the pocket and at least try to get the ball out to Valcourt there, but not completely in sync, but at least a good chance there to try to get the ball in his hands. But now you got a third and long situation once again.
AU looking for a stop here. They would get pretty good field position.
And 3 timeouts still.
And all three of their timeouts remaining. Blue Jays need to pick up a first here. They got to get to the 31. Tahaney throws to the far side, and that one is a little bit overthrown. Frederick, the intended receiver there on the far side. So it's fourth down, and the punting unit coming on again.
Frederick had him beat there. He just had a step on him and just a touch overthrown there by Tahaney. But at this point in the game, when you're down 3 scores, you need to, try to find the home run ball. And unfortunately for the Jays, when that doesn't hit, now you're going to probably give Aurora a short field here once again right before the half.
Jacoby Maxwell is the deep man for the Spartans. He's standing at his own 45-yard line, waiting the punt of Matt Burns. Burns gets off a high punt, fair caught at the 43 by Maxwell. 3:20 remaining.
Another good punt there by Burns.
Well,
the Aurora fans looking for a penalty here on Jay. I don't think they're going to be getting it here anytime soon, but just trying to get down the field and coverage on the punt.
Well, the Blue Jay defense, a couple of turnovers in this quarter. See if they can get their third.
No surprises here offensively for the Spartans. 2 wide receivers on each side of the field, but looks like Zimbelman is going under center.
See how they decide to play it here with 3:20 remaining from their own 43-yard line. Stay on the ground, and the give, this time it's to number 40 for AU. That's Jonathan Allstott. Freshman, local kid from Aurora. Went to the same high school as his head coach.
Yeah, he's a Canelan Knight. I believe he was, I want to say he was the Beacon Player of the Year out in the Aurora area. So, Canelan, obviously one of the better programs out that way. And, I believe he was Player of the Year.
Second down, 5 yards to go for AU, and here he is again as he gets across midfield, dives about a yard short, so it's going to be 3rd down and a yard as the clock continues to move.
Anytime you see Allstott in the number 40, you're going to think some run play between the tackles, most likely.
3rd and a yard as we are at the 2:26 mark, and as Jeff alluded, AU still with all 3 of its timeouts remaining here in the half. And Zimmelman is going to get flushed out. King following him. Throw, wide open. Was that Maxwell?
I believe it was.
Yeah, and he dropped it.
A little uncharacteristic there. I mean, you had a 3rd and 1 situation where it definitely makes sense to go to the air there and try to hit something, because now you're left with a 4th and short, and they're obviously going to go for it here, and they're going quick to the line.
Allstott is the deep back here. Zimmelman trying to draw the defense off, and play clock is down to 10.
Obviously the game clock not a factor here with the incomplete pass.
And Zimmelman is going to take it himself, and he goes forward, and boy, on a second effort there, the pile goes forward, and he picks up a first.
And the initial push looked like Elmhurst got in there, and he was able to squeeze his way over to the, past the line of scrimmage and pick up another 1st down.
1st down for Aurora.
Limping out of the game, number 97 for Elmhurst, Kyle Brindick. Senior defensive end out of Downers Grove South High School. Under 2 minutes to go now, 1st and 10. AU from the Blue Jay 45.
Zimbelman back in the gun here with Allstott to his left.
Zimbelman with a bit of a pump fake, and the pass complete. Matt Everett. And he goes out of bounds. Clock stops with 1:38 remaining and a 1st down.
Yeah, quick little pump and go there by Zimbelman, and obviously got to the 2nd level pretty easy, but you had the safety too far over the top, kind of that cover 2 look there by Elmhurst. And when the corner's down and there's a lot of gap room there between the corner and the safety, that's going to hit that pocket there, and good throw by Zimbelman.
20-yard pickup from Zimbelman to Everett. And Zimbelman, now some pressure. Rolls out here to the near side. He's going to throw, and wisely throw it out of bounds. Brock Harner was the closest Spartan to that one.
Andrew Mink and LeVar Little there on the pressure for the Jays. Good job by both of those guys to make Zimbelman dance a little bit there in the pocket and eventually have to just throw that thing away. But, obviously clock management not necessarily a concern here, obviously with the incomplete pass, but the Spartans still have 3 timeouts and a minute and a half to work with, and there they go. They finally use one.
So they do burn a timeout. It's their first. They've got 2 more left in the first half. Tyler Jolly got up from the trainer's table, and he is not putting any pressure on that right leg, Jeff. So, yeah, we undoubtedly will not see him back in this game.
That's unfortunate to see. Another upperclassman there is Tyler Jolly. He's a junior from Wellington, Florida. Significant playing time last year, obviously, as well. Played in 8 games last year and made 5 stops. But, I would say defensively, one of the stronger suits that Elmhurst does have. I mean, I've talked a lot about their secondary today, but they do have some good depth on the defensive line, too. And it's unfortunate when you see guys like Jolly go down because they were getting, heavy in the rotation last year and obviously this year. But well-coached unit, their defensive line, between Coach Kirkpatrick and Coach Jackson Smith. Coach Kirkpatrick was a former all-conference center, but Coach Smith was a good defensive lineman here for Elmhurst a couple of years ago. So good to see, though, they're able to, get some good, other talent in the rotation now, too.
Yeah, they had some really good linemen a year ago, the Blue Jays did. Romaine Richards is an all-conference lineman. Ross Beck, Sean Kelly, all seniors that have graduated. Maxwell, the intended target. Jeremy Innes was there on the coverage.
Ennis with the coverage.
Yeah, another 4-by-1 look there for the Spartans. Obviously, when you do something like that, you're trying to isolate Maxwell, and Innes stayed on him pretty well there, and throw was a little bit behind him as well, but now you're set up with 3rd and 10 here.
3rd and 10 with 1:27 to go. Boy, this would be a big stop for the Blue Jays to keep the deficit at 20.
Another 4-by-1 look here for the Spartans.
Zimbelman lets it fly, and that one is incomplete. Boy, well covered on the play. And now it's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, good coverage on the outside there. Once again, you see, Innes is back there, and looks like Tristan James was on top of that route as well. So now a 4th and 10. Interesting to see what they choose to do here, Aurora.
You're looking at about a 42-yard field goal, but it doesn't look like that's what the Spartans want to do here. I think they want to go for it here.
And it went a little picked up. You're looking at the flag and the 2 streamers on top of the goalpost. It would be right in the face of the kicker. So looks like they're just going to take this thing down to nothing on the play clock, call a quick timeout here, and draw something up.
2nd timeout of the half for AU. So they've got 1 more to go, 1 more timeout remaining. And on a big here, 4th and 10, they'll talk things over here from the 25-yard line.
Wouldn't be surprised if you see something similar to the last 2 downs where you're trying to get a one-on-one matchup with Maxwell. When you have a 4-by-1 formation, it's pretty obvious what you're trying to do there. But, it's proven effective so far this entire first half. But this would be a good, change of pace here if we do see Elmhurst make a stop on 4th down and be able to at least, go into the locker room at either 28-8 when you're only down 3 scores, or if you can make something happen here and get the ball back shortly to at least try to get 3 points and close the gap a little bit before halftime. But nonetheless, a good stop here either way would help, boost the momentum for the Jays.
Spartans next week will be at Hope, and then they'll have a bye week, and then they'll be at home against Eureka. All right, Jeff, here we go. 4th down and 10 yards to go here from the 25-yard line.
Maxwell on the slot near side here.
Zimbelman throws over the middle, and it is incomplete. Oh, my. In and out of the hands there of number 89. That is Michael Boland.
Unfortunately, I think Aurora is going to get a 1st down here. And
just saw the flag.
Yes, sir.
Personal foul, roughing the pass.
Oh, boy.
41 that foul being
LaVore Little. Boy, that's the 2nd pass, roughing the passer penalty against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and that's tough. I mean, that one there is clear roughing. And, obviously it changes the look of the rest of the half here. And, to be quite fair, even if that play didn't happen as such, that probably should have been caught there by Boland in the first place. But either way, a 1st down here for Aurora.
From the 13-yard line. Remember, AU does have a timeout left. Zimbelman gets flushed out to the far side, throws, And the pass is,
Pass is complete.
it is complete.
Can't tell. The silver numbers are a little
That's
tough on the far
yeah.
side of the
I
field.
Thought it was Maxwell.
One thing either way, whoever caught the ball there, Aurora on the second, second chance part of the play, when Zimbelman either escapes the pocket or he looks, past his first read, Aurora receivers are doing a good job of getting open late in the play, just like on that one there to, make it a 2nd and 5 instead of a 2nd and 10.
70 seconds left here in the first half. Set a man in motion. That's Maxwell. And Zimbelman gets flushed out. Now he breaks a tackle, spins around, and brought down by Tavy Derns finally after all that.
Burns with the stop.
Pressure there. Elmhurst in the middle of the field there. They motion Maxwell out to make it look like they're kind of spreading it out to give Zimbelman a little bit more room up the middle, and now they have another 3rd down.
Zimbelman looking, and boy, it looked like his arm got hit, Jeff, as he released the football. Because it came out of there, it looked like a little awkwardly.
Marino on the pressure there. And that was, better timing there. Obviously, you can't call a roughing there when the ball is not out yet, but, he's looking like a little shaken up.
Timeout taken by the Blue Jays.
Timeout.
Well, the Blue Jays
are going to take a timeout.
Yeah, the Blue Jays take a timeout.
Of the half.
So 36 seconds left. 4th down and 6. Remember the last 4th down, it was that roughing the passer penalty by the Blue Jays.
Was by Elmhurst. This is the second timeout of the half.
So both teams should have 1 timeout left.
And they do. Confirmed.
Confirmed.
So it'll be interesting to see how the Spartans break the huddle here. Obviously they're on a 4th down situation close enough to the goal line where they could kick and just get a few extra points here before the half. But if there's any indication based on last week, they were inside the 20 a couple of times in field goal situations and kept the offense on the field. So and it looks like they are doing the same this week as well.
4th down now for AU, and forget about any field goal opportunities here. They're going to go for it. Boy, another big stop here potentially for the Blue Jays. Maxwell is the motion man. They throw it. Maxwell has the catch. He dives into the end zone. Did he get there? Yes. Touchdown, 6 yards out. Maxwell with his 4th touchdown catch of the afternoon.
Same thing again as the last play. Zimbelman kept it and ran. They motioned Maxwell out. Zigs back into the middle of the field and left wide open and just crosses the goal line. And that's a tough one there when it's 30 seconds left in the first half and you're giving up a touchdown to extend the lead a little bit. And again, they're going to get the ball to start the second half as well.
Sean Kerr in for the extra point for AU, and it is through the uprights and good, and that makes it 35-8 in favor of AU.
Pretty much picking up where they left off from last week offensively is Aurora. Maxwell's a special talent. He's a good receiver, and I said it earlier. I believe he's a grad student now, and played his first couple years at Monmouth and put up some really good numbers for the Scots while he was there. And they're in the Midwest League, and that's a pretty tough football conference as well. So when you can come over and contribute for Aurora, obviously that speaks well to his ability. But he's shown it the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, that was a tough defensive stance there, because that on 4th down they did hold, but unfortunately that penalty kept the drive alive for AU.
Yeah, penalties at critical times are never going to help you win a game.
So Womack and Parbs are back deep for the Blue Jays here.
for the Spartans.
Kerr getting ready to kick it away here for AU. He keeps it down. It's a low kick.
Covered at the 30.
And it's covered up at the 30-yard line there by Brandon Clay, senior linebacker. So Jake Tahaney and the Blue Jay offense back out there with 28 seconds to go in the half.
Brandon Clay, like you said, a senior from Portage, Indiana. Kind of moved back and forth between backer. Now he's playing a little bit more on the defensive line for Elmhurst, getting in on that rotation.
See how the Blue Jays decide to play it here. And they're going to hand it off to Womack. Womack breaks a couple of tackles, now brought down at the 36-yard line by Casey Dykes, and that might just be the last play of the half.
Good effort there by Womack on the run. Hard to bring down, man. He's a quick runner. Got 7 yards on that run.
Well, the Blue Jays are going to get another play off here with 2 seconds to go in the half. Again, it's a handoff to Womack. Straight up the middle, I should say, for a 1-yard gain, and that is the end of the half. And so the visiting Spartans of AU leading here in the season opener for the Blue Jays, 35-8 here at halftime. Jeff and I will take a timeout, and we'll be back for third quarter action. You are logged on to BlueJayTV.com.
Why do I go to Elmhurst College?
I'm close to everything.
I need a great school at a great price.
I'm learning about myself and my role in the world.
I love a challenge.
I'm dreaming big.
But feel totally at home. I want an education with meaning.
I want to be a champion for others. I made connections for life.
I'm ready for the real world. Why do I go to Elmhurst College?
To reach my full potential.
Scotty Williams takes his place in the Hall of Fame as the most decorated football player in Elmhurst College history. From 2009 to 2012, Williams rewrote the Elmhurst record book, cementing his place as one of Elmhurst's all-time greats. A 4-time All-Conference selection, Williams earned first-team All-Conference honors for 3 straight years from 2010 to 2012. He set a single-season rushing record in 2010, only to break it in 2011. During his senior year in 2012, Williams torched his own record again, rushing for 2,046 yards and 22 touchdowns while leading the Blue Jays to the NCAA playoffs for the first time in school history. Named the CCIW's Offensive Player of the Year in 2012, Williams finished his career with 5,203 yards and 50 rushing touchdowns, breaking the previous rushing record by more than 1,600 yards. Tim Lester, now the head coach at Western Michigan University, was the Blue Jays head coach for all of Williams' time at Elmhurst. Lester knew he had someone special in Williams.
Scotty was a special running back talent-wise. I mean, low center of gravity, great feet, great drive, great ball security. But his ability to keep his balance. I mean, there were times that he would disappear behind his O-line, which was huge, and he wouldn't go down. For a little guy, he ran like a big back, and it was fun to watch.
Chris Kirkpatrick was an all-conference and all-region center for the Blue Jays during the Williams era, and he knows how important Scotty was to the success of the team.
Scotty would tell you that he was a cog in the machine, and that goes back to his humble attitude towards things. Scotty was so important to our success. As we became juniors, seniors, Scotty was no longer just the stud player that was quiet and worked hard. He became vocal. Not many people know that. He was the voice in the huddle. And that voice coming from the best player and arguably best person on the team, that led us through some of those tough games.
Elmhurst College's Director of Sports Information, Kevin Juday, covered Williams from the press box. He witnessed firsthand just how hard he was to stop.
No matter how hard an opponent tried to key on Scotty to slow him down, it just was really too difficult for them to stop him. There was a game against Illinois Wesleyan on a 4th and 1 just inside the Illinois Wesleyan 40-yard line, and Elmhurst decided to go for it. Everyone in the stadium knew that Scotty Williams was going to get that ball, and Illinois Wesleyan stacked 11 guys in front, goal line defense, and Scotty just blew right past everybody, broke a tackle, was off to the races, and Elmhurst was off to the playoffs.
Lester remembers the same play as well, but for a different reason, as the play elicited some rarely seen emotion from Williams.
He got in the end zone. He did one of these, which was hilarious because I've never seen him show any emotion when he scores. And normally the line showed the emotion. He just ran over and hugged all the big boys. But when he showed a little bit of swagger for the first time in his 4 years there, it made me laugh, made me smile, made me think that he was having a ton of fun at that moment to get the ball in the biggest moment to accomplish our goal. And he popped one and then, had a little fun in the end zone, which I'll never forget.
Williams' success in 2012 culminated in him taking home All-America honors and becoming the first Elmhurst player to win the Ghilardi Trophy, an award honoring the top player in Division III football.
To win the Ghilardi Trophy, you have to be a great player, a great student athlete, and a great human being on top of it. And Scotty Williams checked every single one of those boxes. Everyone knew about what he was doing on the field that year, but he was also an academic All-American, and he was also actively involved in Habitat for Humanity and several other service groups. And he was one of the most humble student athletes I've ever met in my time at Elmhurst.
As humble as Williams was, Kirkpatrick also remembers Scotty joking around with his teammates.
Our senior year against Milliken, which was kind of a fabled game for us as we had to go into overtime and overtime again, and Scotty broke loose for a 99-yard touchdown run. We had given him a lot of grief over the years, including Coach Lester, about getting what we called hawked in the open field, caught in the open field, and he wasn't letting himself get caught that day. And after he scored that touchdown, as humble as he is, he was letting us know that he didn't get caught from behind.
Williams holds several titles already: record-setting running back, All-American and Ghilardi Trophy winner. But today he adds another title: Elmhurst College Blue Jay backer Hall of Famer.
Having digital media skills is going to make a student, when they graduate, more employable. Whether they were a digital media major or a biology major, they're going to have the skills that they need to be able to tell a digital story. So they will all take a course called Digital Storytelling and a course called Story Structure. It requires communication and collaboration and innovation, and these are skills that they will be able to take with them whether they continue to work on a media project, whatever field they go into, or just life itself.
Embark on a journey to a new future with an advanced degree from Elmhurst College. Whether you want to take your career to the next level or discover an entirely new direction, Elmhurst College has a graduate program for you.
12% of our population have a master's degree. We're in a period of specialized master's degrees.
The advanced degree is a time to get more specific into some areas that you're interested in.
I believe that when you're looking for a graduate degree, you have to be ready.
You need to do some exploration up front to get some idea of what's possible, what people on the outside want and are interested in, and to begin to think about how that may match with your own abilities and interests.
Spend some time thinking about what they're passionate about, what they really enjoy, and what they want to learn more about.
But it's people that may want to better themselves in their career. They might want to look to another industry or maybe even another career. But many are coming just for that personal achievement. It's something they always wanted to do.
At Elmhurst, we believe the educational journey should be student-centered. You'll notice that difference from the moment you connect with us. You'll join a network of professionals and peers who will support you throughout your studies and your career. connecting you with employers all over the Chicago area. You'll hit the ground running, tested, proven, and ready.
I think part of the reason that a person would want to go to graduate school is so that they can get launched into their professional niche. We're able to really get to know our students personally and professionally and really challenge them, push them, and support them in all the ways that graduate students need support.
And we're also in a good position to help you clarify for yourself what your goals are, what your strengths are, what the possible matches might be for when you're done, and we will work with you to do that. So that sort of personal touch, I think, is more than just a saying here. I think it's very real in the way that we relate and interact with all of our students.
And we also help with job placement. The CPE, the Center for Professional Excellence, has been good in helping with resume building, job interviews, whatever it may take.
Our program directors will support you through every step of your journey. Elmhurst faculty aren't just experts in their fields, they're dedicated to expanding your reach with fieldwork, professional connections, and real-world experiences.
We know you. I, as program director, know every single individual who's in the program. I know why they're here. I know what they're looking to do. I know their stories. I know when situations come up that might require us to be a bit flexible and adaptable.
We really have a lot of fun, and we're really good at supporting our students through this rigorous program.
The teachers are phenomenal. I can't ask for a better school to go to.
By train or by car, from city or suburbs, our campus is easily accessible. And our proximity to Chicago, a world-class metropolitan center, means lots of opportunity for consulting projects, networking, and career advancement. You'll love the flexibility of part-time and evening options that allow you to move at the pace that works for you. In fact, some programs are offered entirely online.
We're easily able to give individualized attention to our students. We can really personalize their education.
Also connect our students with our alumni, building those relationships with their peers, building those relationships with their faculty members. Those students are able to make those connections and build lasting relationships for the future.
One of the things that inspired me within Elmhurst is to take on bigger responsibilities. I'm taking a lot of experience from the things that everyone else has done and from this cohort and from Elmhurst and trying to develop this in our company. So overall, it's been a great experience.
You know, if your company now values you, just wait until after you go through the full program. There's absolutely no way I would be able to do what I'm doing now without this program.
Your journey builds on the students who came before you at Elmhurst, founded in 1871 but ready for the future. So come tour our historic Arboretum campus and check out our top-notch facilities, from our state-of-the-art nursing simulation center to our speech-language hearing clinic and our small hands-on classrooms. You'll gain the skills you need to succeed.
Graduate school is affordable, and I think more to the point is a good value.
I think it's an investment in your future and an investment in a field that you are passionate about and want to pursue.
We know that going to college is a huge investment. You put your trust and time in Elmhurst College, and we do the same. You invest in us, and we invest in you.
I'd love to tell students not to look back. You want to always look forward, and they tend to gain momentum as they get into the program. At the end, it's just a wonderful thing when you're handed that diploma and you're able to celebrate with all your friends and family.
Pursue your graduate work at Elmhurst College and take that life-changing journey to your successful future.
I would say the typical student, however, might be someone who says that they like GIS, maybe they've had a taste of it somewhere in a previous class. We have geography majors, political science majors. They might have specialized in environmental studies or biology. We even have people in economics and healthcare, military. people in the military currently. The people can come in almost with any kind of a background because it's going to be applicable in understanding the spatial distribution of whatever it is that they're looking at. The software that we use for the most part of our program is Esri's ARC Suite, I want to call it. And so a lot of programs that are done in ArcMap and ArcPro connect into a cloud platform in ArcGIS Online. So we incorporate all three of those. A lot of students enjoy programming, and so they'll enjoy it, like the Python and the geodatabases course, and that's maybe the job that they're going to be doing, maybe even writing algorithms. Other students really like the cartographic aspect. They like making maps, and so once that data is collected and put into the GIS system for analysis, they're the ones that get to manipulate the colors and the lines and the shapes, and sometimes even produce maps that'll be printed or put in web settings. Once you become more proficient in GIS, there's actually different jobs and different opportunities. Someone who really tends to like the satellite imagery or LiDAR, they might be more interested in focusing on remote sensing. Other people really they're much more into the GIS, where they can download data, you can get real-time data. Those people tend to become GIS technicians or analysts. We have people who really like to be out in the field, and so they might be more into the data collection. It's one thing to go into the program thinking I want to be a GIS analyst, but it's another thing to keep your mind open that there really are a lot of possibilities.
And welcome back here to Langhorst Field. Halftime, the season opener for the Blue Jays, and Elmhurst trailing the Spartans of Aurora University here at halftime, 35-8. Mark Kruger along with Jeff Torzeski welcoming you back here. And Jeff, tough first half here, just looking at the numbers. Boy, Gavin Zimbelman, 22 of 37 passing. He did have 2 interceptions. He threw for 241 yards in that first half and 5 touchdowns. And of course his favorite target in that first half was Jacoby Maxwell.
Yeah, both of them just kind of carried over from what they did last week against St. Norbert. And, you know, you knew coming into the game that they were going to have a pretty potent offense, which they've clearly shown here so far today. But, you know, in the same token, Elmhurst, you know, it's deceptive on the scoreboard a little bit. Their defense is playing pretty well in terms of, you know, trying to get them at least to third downs, trying to get off the field as much as possible. But, you know, obviously the weapons that Aurora has offensively, you know, is kind of outplaying the Elmhurst defense so far today. But not a terrible showing so far by Elmhurst defensively. Hopefully can try to close the gap a little bit here.
Jacoby Maxwell, his numbers, 12 catches for 120 yards and 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, on third down conversions, Aurora University was 4 of 10. The Blue Jays 0 of 6 on third down conversions. The Spartans had 3 penalties, the Blue Jays with 4. Jake Tahaney, the quarterback for the Blue Jays, went 4 of 10 passing for 29 yards. He was sacked a couple of times in that first half.
You know, and it's another thing, too. We talked highly of the Aurora offense a lot today, and obviously it's pretty easy to do that. But defensively, the Spartans are very well coached. You know, Nathan Bell, the defensive coordinator, was at North Park for the last couple of years, and before that he was an assistant coach right here at Elmhurst College. And, you know, he's put together a game plan so far today that's, you know, really got pressure on Tahaney quite easily, and they've been able to, you know, stuff the run quite well. A good defensive front that the Spartans have, and it's shown pretty well today as well.
Recap the scoring for you with 9:35 left to go in the first quarter. Zimbelman hit Maxwell for 1 of his 4 touchdown passes. That one went for 17 yards. The extra point by Sean Kerr was good to make it 7-0. Then with 4:14 to go in the first quarter, it was again Zimbelman to Maxwell, this time for 7 yards. Extra point was good to make it 14-0. Then in the second quarter, with 13:40 remaining, Maxwell with his 3rd touchdown catch from 15 yards. That made it 21-0. And then the Blue Jays, the defense, Jeremy Innes with a pick six, returning at 16 yards for the Blue Jays' first score of the game. 2-point conversion by Sean Jay was good, and that made it 21-8. Then with 4:18 remaining, Spartans 24-yard pass from Zimmelman to Travis Davis, and the extra point by Kerr was good to make it 28-8. And then Maxwell caught his fourth touchdown pass of the half, 7 yards from Zimmelman, and that is where we are at right now by a score of 35-8.
The way that Aurora's done it offensively, we were talking a little bit about it at halftime. It's not deep shots. It's kind of up tempo, yes, but they're 5-10 yards down the field quite well. And another thing, you take a look at all their drives. No drive that they scored on has been over 3.5 minutes. They're it's kind of deceptive though in terms of actual time of possession, because they are owning that category as well. 18 minutes to about 11 minutes is the difference in that. So they're controlling the ball as well, because defensively they're getting Elmhurst off the field 3 downs. But so they're being very efficient moving the ball down the field. Not, like I said, not a lot of deep shots. They're utilizing motions here and there, but they're finding ways to get their key weapons open, and especially with 4 touchdowns, one of them is going to be Maxwell.
Both teams out on the field warming up, getting ready for second half action. We should mention the only other team in the CCIW that is playing today are the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan. They're on the road at University of Wisconsin La Crosse. And the halftime score there is UW La Crosse leading by 10 over Illinois Wesleyan, 17-7.
The Eagles up at UW La Crosse picked to finish second in the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and obviously you have teams like Whitewater and Oshkosh and La Crosse. I mean, that's one of the toughest leagues in D3. I mean, that's the nice thing about living where we live, Mark. You have the best Division III ball, in the Midwest here between the CCIW, the WIAC, the MIAC. You don't have to go too far to watch good football. And when you get that cross-conference matchup between a CCIW school and a WIAC school, it's always going to be a good game. And they went back and forth last year as well. Normesh down at Wesleyan, obviously a well-coached unit every year, but last year I think they beat both Whitewater and La Crosse, I want to say, or they were both close games. But La Crosse, again, picked to finish second. Of course, it's going to be a close game when they're tangling one of the best teams in the CCIW.
Remember, the Blue Jays did win the opening toss, and they received to open the game, so AU will get the ball to start the third quarter. Matt Burns teeing it up here for the Blue Jays.
Burns been on the field quite a bit so far today, and more on the punting side of things than kicking, but hopefully he can get a good one down the field here to start the half off.
Third quarter is underway from the 9-yard line, and Wright brings it back along the far sideline, near the far sideline. It gets tackled to the 29-yard line, so that's where Gavin Zimmelman and the Spartan offense will go to work here.
Good coverage on the kick there. Tavy Dern's in on the stop. Tavy's another kid that started off as a freshman playing a couple years ago. He's a junior now. He's a Tinley Park product, went to Andrew High School, and on the field now at linebacker for the Jays.
Jeremy Innes not only had the pick six in that first half, led the defense in tackles in the first half with 6. Keon Adams and Cole Sin each had 4 tackles to lead the Spartans defensively.
Be interesting to see the adjustments Elmhurst came out with defensively here.
First play is a run. White takes it to the 20. Well, they're going to spot it at the 29, so really no gain, second and long.
New guy on the field, I'm seeing 55 in the box there for Elmhurst. That's Brett Stigmiller. He's a transfer, first year in the program here for the Jays.
Second and 10 here for Zimmelman and the Spartans.
Ball's
White,
out.
he dropped it. Yeah, looked like Zimmelman, the quarterback, covered it up. Good heads-up play by Gavin.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a looks like on the fault of the running back there more so than Zimmelman. He just had it out there, but good piece of, or good heads-up play there by Zimmelman to fall on that thing quickly. But not the ideal start Aurora was looking for offensively here to start the second half.
Could be a good start for the Blue Jays trying to get a 3 and out here. Out of all that, it was actually a gain of 1, so it's now 3rd down and 9. Zimmelman looking, underneath, wide open is Davis, and Davis is going to pick up a first down, tripped up across the 45. First down, though, on the play. Coming up and making the tackle there was Postman.
A little empty set there by Aurora. Pretty standard offensively on 3rd downs. Elmhurst rushes 4, leaves the middle of the field wide open, and a lot of room there for Davis to get upfield and get the first down.
1st and 10, Spartans from their own 48-yard line. Opening drive here of this 3rd quarter. Going to hand it off here to Davis. Oh, and Davis does a flip at the 45-yard line of the Blue Jays. Flipped over Sean Jay.
Interesting decision there by Davis to kind of somersault into the tackle there. I don't know if he was looking just for the head contact or something, but don't see that every day. But nonetheless, Jay down there. And again, he came off shaking earlier in the game, so it's good to see him back out on the field here in the second half.
Indeed. 2nd down, 3 yards to go. They need to get to the 42 to pick up the first. Zimmelman with protection, lets it fly. Oh, he overthrows his target, Matt Everett. He was open.
2 high safeties there, cover 2 look like there for Elmhurst. Corners are off a little bit, so didn't have a lot of pressure on that play. Brings up a short 3rd down now here for the Spartans.
Yeah. AU, as I mentioned earlier, 4 of 10 on 3rd down conversions in that first half. They face a 3rd and 3. Two wide receivers to either side. 5 on the play clock. Zimmelman looking to his right. Now he rolls that way. Nobody home, and he's going to have to run it himself. And did he get across the 45? He did.
Looks like he picked that thing up.
Yeah, he sure did, Jeff. All the way down to the 41. Boy, that's a nice run by Zimmelman.
Bit of outside pressure there. Looks like it was follow there on the pressure there for Elmhurst. It almost got to Zimmelman, but turned the corner and got just enough for the first down.
Zimmelman ran 7 times in the first half for 29 yards. First down and 10 from the Blue Jay 41-yard line. Still the opening drive. It's Davis. Spins. Has a first down and more down to the 25-yard line. Boy, Travis Davis, only a freshman. He's been impressive here today running the ball for the Spartans.
Yeah, strong run there by Davis. Has a good start to the second half here. And, it looks like on the secondary side of things, Elmhurst was tightening things up a little bit. And sure enough, Aurora goes right to their run and has been able to march down the field, running the ball a little bit more effectively than previous.
Empty backfield here. Zimmelman under center from the 23-yard line. Out in the flat, the quick reception, and inside the 20 now to the red zone to the 18-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 5. Davis with the catch.
Good play call there. I mean, he's under center, basically just has to take the snap, step, and throw. And when you get athletes like that out in space, the receivers did a really good job blocking on the outside of the field there by Aurora. So, getting space, picking up 6-7 yards as they go down the field.
2nd and 5 now for Zimmelman, and again, he goes under center with an empty backfield. 4 wides to the top. And that's where Zimmerman looks. Nothing there, keeps his feet moving. Now he finally throws, and he's got his man tackled inside the 10 down to the 7. And a flag comes down. 2 flags come down late.
Probably going to have a face mask, it looks like there, Mark. That's the same exact setup that Aurora had on the last play where, they bubbled out to Davis, and that's what they were setting up there, probably looking for that. And then, obviously, the look was to probably take a shot. Nothing was open there, but face mask indeed was the call.
Yep.
Result of play is now
First down.
Jeremy Innes, the guilty Blue Jay. So it's going to be first and goal here at the 3.
Full backfield here, 2 running backs. You typically don't see this out of the Spartans, but close to the goal line.
High snap. Zimmelman got it down. He throws it into the end zone for a touchdown. It's Bolin.
Bolin across the middle, wide open. Pretty much no one around him within 3-4 yards.
Opening drive of this third quarter, the Spartans drive it downfield to score.
You know, believe it or not, that was their longest drive of the afternoon so far as well.
Steve Kerr in for the extra point. He's been perfect so far, and that one is no good. So it's just as I mentioned, he misses his first extra point, and it's 41-8.
So yeah, a couple of different adjustments there. It looked like Elmhurst defensively. A couple of different substitutions, some new guys in the lineup. And then once as that happens, Aurora starts running the ball pretty effectively down the field, chewed up a little bit more clock. But this just goes to show the weapons that they do have. The skill guys that Aurora has, they got plenty of them. They're distributing the ball to a lot of different guys. When you have a quarterback as poised and good as Zimbelman, he's going to take the time to make the right reads. But he also has the freedom. He checks one read, maybe a second read, then he's off and running a lot of times, and he's still making effective plays out of the pocket, finding receivers or at least tucking the ball and run. He did it a couple times in this last drive where he just pulled it and he went. So, it's bodes well for the next few weeks here for Aurora if they can continue to do this offensively.
Coach McDonald and the Blue Jays over the summer in June, Jeff, they went to Europe for more than a week.
They did. They went to Austria and
that had to be pretty neat.
Played the Graz Giants,
one of
the better teams in Europe for football. They had some ex-Division I guys on that team.
Well, that's a trip that I'm sure these players are not going to forget, huh?
Anytime you can get to Europe for any occasion, it's pretty darn cool. Yeah,
that's right. Parbs on the return. And he brings it across the 25. Where are they going to spot it here? Right at the 27, looks like.
Parb's a multi-sport athlete here at Elmhurst, also runs track.
Okay. Spotted actually at the 29-yard line. So it's Jake Tahaney. Out of the pistol here. Looks like Brock Bethke is right behind him. Early goings here of the third quarter. Tahaney is going to roll out. Oh, nice pass and the catch to Frederick. And a nice little screen that time. Boy, that's kind of something that AU has done. And now the Blue Jays take advantage of the short pass.
Good zip on the ball there by Tahaney to get it out quick to Frederick. Aurora's getting some good pressure, and obviously we can kind of do the misdirection there a little bit. They got the 3 solid guys and a stand-up guy on the defensive line, and you're able to get them off kilter a little bit. And good effort there by Frederick too to get the first down.
10-yard pickup, 1st and 10 at the 39. Dobchak the slot here on the near side. They're going to hand it off to Bethke.
Bethke the ball carrier.
Bethke off of the left tackle there. Got back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it.
Yeah, swallowed up pretty quick there by a couple of different guys. It looked like Smith, number 91, and Gully, number 95, in there for the Spartans.
Yeah, Smith out of Cedar Hill, Texas. And now the Blue Jays face 2nd down and 10. And it's Bethke, the ball carrier, once again. Get about 3 yards on that play up to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, tough yards there by Bethke. Not getting a ton of push up front, and they're still falling forward. And manageable 3rd down situations here. Obviously not as close as what you want to be, but the ability to stretch the field a little bit here on 3rd down and hopefully pick up some good yards.
Blake Martz was in on the stop for the Spartans. 3rd down, Tahaney. Pocket collapses now under pressure, throws, and incomplete. Boy, that would have been enough for a first down, but Ben Frederick in and out of his hands, and so fourth down for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, good pressure there by the Spartans. Make Tahaney roll the pocket a little bit there. They only brought 4, I think, and still have to rush the pot or get out of the pocket. And he found Frederick, who was there and probably should have made the catch, but unfortunately it's in and out of his hands, and the punt team's back on.
Burns to kick it away. Martino back deep.
Burns to punt it away once again. Burns had 5 punts in that first half. That's a short kick off the side of his foot. It does take a Blue Jay roll, however, as it's going to be down at the 40-yard line. So again, pretty good field position here for the Spartans with 8:44 to go here in the third.
And unfortunately, that'll shrink his average a little bit after that one, but it came off the top of his foot a little bit there. Looked a little goofy, but like you said, it took a fortunate enough of a bounce, but short field again. Once again here for Aurora.
You are logged on to BlueJayTV.com. Mark Kruger along with Jeff Torzeski. We are enjoying bringing Blue Jay football to you. Our crew of Glenn Liljeberg and Dennis Bergen. AU looking awful impressive. Leading 41-8 here with 8:44 to go here in the third. Gavin Zimbelman. He's going to hand the ball off.
Allstott back in the game there for the Spartans. So utilizing a ton of guys not only in the perimeter but also in the backfield. Probably his second or third series of the game so far.
Second down and 8 after a 2-yard gain. Allstott flanked to the left of Zimbelman. And he's going to hand it off to Allstott again. Straight up the middle, power running. Boy, he's got a Blue Jay on his back, carrying him to the 44-yard line and a first down.
Yeah, good effort there by Allstott up the middle. Good push by the offensive line. And again, alluded to it, a couple new guys in the game there for Elmhurst. Stiegmuller and Bryce Gable in on the stop there for the Jays. Gable just a freshman from Granville, Michigan.
First down and 10 from the Blue Jay 45-yard line. Again, it's Allstott. Boy, he's a pretty powerful runner. Straight up the middle for about 3. Forward progress should get him to the 42. Bring up second down, call it 7 here for AU.
And not only is this drive eating up yards, it's also eating up clock. You're already down to about 7 minutes and 20 seconds here. So, they've kind of slowed the tempo down a little bit. Obviously, when you're no huddle, you have a lot more clock to play with anyways, but they're slowing down the tempo even from what it was in the first half. And just eat more clock here in the third quarter.
From the 42-yard line, it's Zimbelman. Oh, the direct snap to Allstott, and he's going to take it to the 37-yard line.
I think that was just a crazy snap there by the center. Luckily, Allstott had the wherewithal just run, and momentum carried him to the ball, and he just took it from Zimbelman and got upfield with it, which, unfortunately for Elmhurst, still picked up a substantial gain. Make it third and close.
Third and a couple, yeah. They need to get to the 35-yard line. Now Zimbelman will check out, step back out of the gun. Third down and 2. Zimbelman will get brought down behind the line of scrimmage, and he will not get there. Tackled on the play by Tanner King.
Yeah.
King there along with Clay.
King and Clay in on the stop there, and I don't believe that was intended for Zimbelman to carry. I think he anticipated Allstott keeping that ball, and he ended up with it and tried to eat up as many yards as he could, but good fill there by King and Clay as well. So now a 4th and short for Aurora.
Davis is to the right of Zimbelman. 4th down and call it 4. Handing it off to Davis, cuts back inside, spins, and he's not going to get there. So good defense by the Blue Jays. They hold. And then we'll get the ball back on downs.
Yeah, that's a shot in the arm there for the Jays. I mean, that's a good little boost there for the defense. And, Aurora started that drive on their own 40, so it was, a short field again. And for Elmhurst to make that stop, and hopefully they can chew a little bit of clock on their own. Obviously, you don't want to chew too much clock. You need some time to get back here, but hopefully they can sustain a drive and make it work.
Well, Chandler Cowan is a little tardy to the scene.
He's getting taped up by the trainer, I believe. So
now we're all set.
Now we're good.
Yep. Motion man here for the Blue Jays. 1st and 10 from their own 39-yard line. They fake it to Bethke, and boy, Tahaney nowhere to go as he was brought down for a loss back at the 35.
Yeah, I almost looked like a kind of a designated keep there almost, because it looked like, if Bethke would have held on to that thing, they probably would have got at least a couple of yards, and Spartan swallowed in there quick.
Instead, it's a loss of 4, makes it 2nd down 14 from the 35. Need to get to the 49-yard line to pick up the first. Tahaney throws. Ooh, a little bit of contact there before the ball arrived, but they're not. There's no call here. Hayden Beck, the tight end, was the intended target.
Yeah, that's tough. Beck, the intended target, like you said. I mean, if you're a fan of defense, that's good coverage. If you're a fan of offense, the flag should be out. I mean, he was right on top of him there even before the ball got to him. So, I mean, if that would have been called the other way for an interference penalty, neither one of us would have been too surprised.
Now 3rd down and 14. Tahaney with some time. He's going to let it fly. Ooh, overthrows his receiver. It's incomplete. It's going to bring up 4th down. No flag on the play, so it looks like Burns will come in to punt.
Yeah, Parp's the intended receiver there. Again, Aurora only rushing 4. Tahaney had enough time there to hang one up and just kind of overshot his man a little bit, and another quick 3 and out, and Burns back on the field to punt for the Jays.
And back deep for the Spartans is James Martino. Well, we were talking, Jeff, this is a young Blue Jay ball club, and they're going to go through some growing pains. I mean, you've got a new head coach that you have to. Oh, Moreno makes a great catch off the bounce as he went back over his left shoulder to haul that one in.
That's an interesting one. If he lets that one go, there's a chance that thing has enough trajectory on the bounce to get into the end zone. But there looked like good coverage on the on the punt team there for the Jays. So better safe than sorry. I don't know if the Aurora coaches would agree with me too much on that one, but no, like you said earlier, I mean, they are a young team, and like I said earlier, even on the beginning of the broadcast, the buzz around campus with the new coaching staff and just where this program is at in general right now. It's you're going to take your lumps early here, but they're going to be a well prepared team, week in and week out, and it's going to be a fun season still after this week 1 here.
Zimbelman is going to hand it off. It's going to be Davis, the ball carrier, as he gets it close past the 20-yard line. It's going to be a gain of about 7.
On the back end of the 3rd quarter here, so anticipating a little bit more run-heavy offense for the Spartans, just to, obviously you still got your ones in. You don't want to make it seem like it's too far out of reach or anything like that, but chew up the clock here a little bit more. Hopefully Elmhurst can make a stop.
2nd down, 3 yards to go for Zimbelman and the Spartans. Send a man in motion. Zimbelman is going to throw it here out in the flat. Pass is caught, breaks a couple of tackles is Maxwell, and he dives to midfield. A gain of 29 yards on that catch by Maxwell.
James ended up with the stop there for the Jays. Sean Jay had a chance in the backfield to wrap up there and just mistimed the tackle, and
Tackle for the Blue Jays.
unfortunately, for the sake of the Jays, Maxwell with another catch and was able to bring the ball up to the 50.
Boy, what a season Maxwell has had through the first 2 games here. 6 touchdown catches. Davis now gets the call. And he'll run the ball, and a couple of flags come flown out simultaneously towards the end of that play.
And judging by the applause handed out by the Aurora fans across the field, it looks like it'll be on the Jays.
Yeah.
You said 6 touchdowns so far in 2 games. That's a pretty good season for most receivers for 10 games.
Number 41 in defense. That foul being forced 15 yards in the end.
Boy, another personal foul. Face mask, that's on LaVore Little.
Penalties are not helping today, obviously. I mean, you're already starting the field, short, and the personal fouls eat up a lot of yards. You get multiple personal fouls in a game. I mean, that's going to help an offense out, considerably. And now you look at where the Spartans are at; they're all of a sudden at the 29-yard line.
1st and 10 for Zimbelman and the Spartan offensive attack. Allstott get about 2.
Allstott the ball carrier.
But we're almost 7 quarters into the season for Aurora University, and they've already scored 91 points. The 50 last week, and now 41 here today.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive offense that Coach BB, Ryan Gellert, those guys have brought into Aurora. He was doing the same thing at Aurora Christian as well. He's just putting up a lot of points.
Right. Won a couple of state titles there. 2nd down and long. Allstott, he'll get to the 25 and now pushes forward down to the 24. Looks like they're going to spot it for a pickup of 4.
So another 3rd down here for the Jays. The last Aurora series, they were able to get off the field, on a 4th down stop. So hopefully here they can get to the quarterback here and get off the field.
3rd down, call it 5 here for the Spartans. Whoa, a direct snap to Allstott. It was a bad snap, but Allstott got it, and look at this. He picks up a 1st down.
Yeah, that was right on the turf. That was a bad snap. That's all it is. I mean, great job by Allstott to pick it up and, get the yards he needed for a 1st down. I mean, he's quick, deceptively quick. I think, again, I said it earlier, when you hear Allstott and the number 40, you're going to think fullback from Purdue, and I don't always think wheels.
That's right. Of course, he had quick hands too to pick that one off the grass blades on the artificial surface here, the field turf. Allstott again. This time he's been head on. Good play there defensively there by Zach Hazelhoff.
Good to see Kyle Brindak in on the stop as well there for the Jays. It's interesting when the Spartans line up under center, when Zimmelman gets low enough in the crouch. You don't see under center too much this day and age anywhere anyways, but looks like a double wing quarterback when he's under center, kind of running, looking like he's about ready to run the veer almost. He's just crouched down so low.
2nd down, 10 yards to go here for AU with about a half a minute remaining here in the 3rd. Zimmelman to the air. That slant pattern is complete. Spinning and getting into the end zone is a touchdown. So they ran the ball to Allstott which set up that pass play, and it's going to be a touchdown.
Yep, motioned the H-back into the backfield, expecting run probably, and pulled that thing out quick and got it over the middle. And another touchdown for the Spartans.
To make it 47-8. And coming in is Sean Kerr for the extra point. This would make it 48-8. Ooh, nearly blocked, but the extra point is indeed good. 25 seconds to go in the 3rd. It's all AU here, 48-8.
taking a look at the schedules, like you said earlier, Elmhurst will be heading out to Rock Island to take on Augie next week. And Augustana played their first game of the year last week and came away with a pretty convincing win, I believe 42-7 or something in that ballpark. And next week for Aurora, they'll go up to Michigan and take on Hope, who, one of the better teams in the Michigan League the last couple of years. Usually you'd always see Albion and a couple of years trying, kind of held court in that league. But Hope has Pete Sturzma as their head coach, and he's brought that program kind of back to prominence on the national level.
We mentioned the preseason coaches poll, talked about North Central. Pick number 1, Wheaton number 2, Illinois Wesleyan number 3, and Washington University in St. Louis was picked to finish 4th in the conference. The Blue Jays will be in St. Louis on October 12th against Washington U.
And Wash U was up here last week and got taken care, or they took care of Chicago quite handily, I believe.
Back deep for the Blue Jays.
The new addition to the CCIW, Washington U. It's be Womack.
From the 12-yard line.
From the 12. No, that's not Womack, that's Parb. Parbs.
Yeah, that was Parbs on the return up to about the 40.
So pretty good return, and good field position here for the Blue Jays as we wind down the third quarter.
That was Justin Parbs on the return.
Boy, you really like to see this offense, Jeff, just kind of click and put together a really nice drive.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have the last, 17 seconds here of the quarter to at least get one play or maybe two plays in, and then hopefully sustain a decent drive to start the fourth. And you have all your ones still in. You see Dobchek, you see Zacharias here out on the outside, and Womack in the backfield.
Tahaney is going to hand it off to Womack. Dives forward to the 44-yard line. Gain of 4. Second down and 6 forthcoming. In on the tackle there for Aurora University was Marcellus Romias.
That's the end of the third quarter.
End of the third quarter here from beautiful Langhorst Field. Aurora University leading by a score of 48-8.
Yeah, and last week when Aurora took on St. Norbert College, and we said it before, they won 50-40. It was 43-19 at halftime. So, Norbert kind of buckled it up a little bit there in the second half and scored some points to make the game look a little bit closer. But for Elmhurst today, obviously did a little bit better job defensively than St. Norbert did in the first half. So there's things that you can take away today that are going to be positives. I think, like I said, defensively they're young, but they're able to wrap up and make some good tackles. And one thing I see, a lot of their skill guys, they're fast. They got some speed. So hopefully, you start game planning next week for Augie and see what the deficiencies are so far with Augustana and try to exploit those and hopefully put some more points on the board and also stop Augustana offensively as well. So because it looks like compared to their first week, they did put some points on the board.
So fourth quarter getting underway here. The Blue Jays moving right to left. Second down and 6. Tahaney is going to hand it off. Womack's going to have a first down across midfield. Cuts it back inside the 40, 35, 30. He's still on his feet and finally brought down inside the 20 to the 16-yard line.
Great run there by Tristan Womack. He's going to be one kid that no matter what the score is going to be, no matter where they're at in the game, he's going to give you 100% no matter what. And he's a tough runner, man, and he's quick and hard to bring down, and showed in that play, broke multiple tackles.
39-yard gain.
Womack had 8 carries for 30 yards heading into that play, so that 39-yard pickup gives him now 69 yards rushing for the game. Womack again, nothing doing there as he gets met right at the line of scrimmage.
Anthony Smith Jr. with the tackle.
Yeah, Womack, a senior, he's tapping himself out here. I think must be just banged up a little bit, but that's a kid that deserves, every carry he gets. I mean, he's worked hard for 4 years, put on a ton of weight, put on a ton of muscle, and obviously kind of he's 5'6", 5'7". He's a pretty short kid, and he's stuck with it for 4 years, and now he's finally paying off.
Second down and 8. Tahaney rolls, fires, and incomplete. Ooh, man, that one nearly nearly picked off that time.
Yeah, Robbie Peterson on the coverage there for the Spartans, and he got underneath that route. Just luckily enough for the Jays, didn't quite get under enough quick enough to get the ball, but now you got a 3rd and about 8 now, and hopefully we can at least get the first down.
Well, the Blue Jays on 3rd downs, they have yet to convert a 3rd down here today. 0 of 8 on 3rd down conversions.
That's a telling stat.
Yeah. Dehaney is going to keep it himself, looking for that first down, cutting it back, and, well, very near the marker. Boy, that's going to be close.
Yeah, it's a good job there by Jake. Fighting for the extra yardage here, and need a little bit more help on the block on the outside there to, kind of substantiate the first down, but they got it. And
first 3rd down conversion of the game.
Had to happen sometime.
Just underway here in the 4th. 1st and goal, Blue Jays from the 6. Womack. Ooh, man, nothing there.
Nowhere to go there. Good pressure up the middle there by Warwick there for the Spartans.
Big Anthony Smith was there as well, the 285-pound junior lineman. It's a lot of beef right there, Jeff.
That's an anchor.
Yes. 2nd and goal now for Dehaney. Looking to the end zone, to the left, throws into the corner.
Incomplete in the corner.
That's a great throw by Dehaney. That's something Frederick has to come down with there. He had the guy beat in the corner of the end zone, and I think that's a good ball there by Jake, and unfortunate that it wasn't caught for a touchdown.
Brings up now 3rd and goal from the 6. The Blue Jays looking for their first score from the offensive side of the football. The defense came up with a touchdown in the first half, a 15-yard pick 6 by Jeremy Innes. All right, here we go. 3rd and goal. Dehaney looking for the end zone, into the corner. He's in. 6-yard touchdown run. Nicely done by Jake Dehaney.
That's a well-deserved touchdown there for Jake. Got a lot of Aurora jerseys in his face all afternoon, and he's hung tough in the pocket. And once he gets out of the pocket, man, he's quick enough to get out there, and that's a well-deserved run there, well-deserved touchdown for Dehaney.
Of course, the key play on that drive was that nice long run by Womack, 39-yard pickup. Burns in for the extra point. It is good to make it 48-15 now.
Yeah, points on the board any time of the game. I mean, it's going to boost the confidence up a little bit, and you're going to have the dual threat option all year with Dehaney, and he's going to be the type of kid that's going to hang in the pocket as long as he can. But he's not afraid to use his wheels, and he's got them. So. Again, bodes well for the next couple weeks here. Just get a little bit more confidence, a little bit more time in the game, and I think now it's nice too. He knows he's gonna be the quarterback all year. They're not gonna switch him out, to a receiver position or anything like that. He's the guy, and I think that alone helps with the confidence factor. And again, 9 more weeks of the season and plenty of time to grow for Dehaney and the offense.
12:59 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Matt Burns will kick it away here for the Blue Jays. 48-15. Favor the Spartans. AU trying to get over the 50-point mark for the 2nd straight week.
Kick in the air.
It's a short kick taking from the 16-yard line. That's Montez Wright. Wright still flagged down. He's still on his feet as he gets across midfield. Tackled by Burns, the kicker. But let's see what the penalty flag is all about.
I think that's going to be coming back there, Mark.
I think you're right. It's back at the 40. And now they're going to drop the flag down at the 30.
Unfortunately for Burns, that tackle's going to be negated, I think, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you know he'd love to have that in the stat
He's been all over the stat sheet all day.
From the back, number 13 is receiving team. That foul being forced 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Down
Yeah, block on the back by Cam Moore. So the ball is back at the 20-yard line.
Looks like we got a new quarterback in there for Aurora. Kyle Evert, I believe. And silver numbers, Mark, I'm telling you.
I tell you, it's tough.
An announcer's nightmare.
Oh, man. So the day is done for Gavin Zimbelman. Yeah, you're right. It is Kyle Evert. I wonder if he is the brother of Matt Evert, the junior wide receiver. Both juniors?
Couple of Geneva guys, I would imagine.
You would think.
Imagine there's some sort of relation there.
That's right. So Don Beebe slowly bringing in his reserves.
Clayton Smith at the bottom of the pile for the Blue Jays.
There's some fresh guys in defensively for the Jays as well.
Yep. Great opportunity for them to show Coach McDonald what they can do. Everett's going to hand it off, and Spartans will probably try to keep this one on the ground. Oh, you're right. Blue Jays may have gotten their third turnover. Well, let's hold on here. It is. Wow. So the Blue Jays, the defense comes up with another turnover.
Well, it looks like LeVar Little came up with it, at least at the bottom of the pile. So, hey, here's another momentum boost, another confidence booster here for the Jays. Short field. Close the gap a little bit here. Put some more points on the board.
Take advantage of every opportunity, right?
You got plenty of time to get some more points on the board, and it'll be interesting to see how AU kind of shuffles in and out with their defensive starters and not. I mean, you're seeing some guys in there that have played all 4 quarters, so... But now offensively for the Jays, Tehaney's still back there, and most of the ones offensively.
Womack is behind Tehaney. They fake it to Womack. Tehaney's going to throw. He's got Frederick. Frederick trying to gain some yards after the catch. Going to mark it at the 20-yard line. It's we'll actually check it at the 19, so it'll be a gain of 5.
Yeah, good quick first down play. They're finding success rolling Tehaney out with these quick rollout plays and finding Frederick underneath and moving the ball down the field still a little bit here. And
boy, every one of those completions, and you talked about it, Jeff, just gives Tehaney that much more confidence for future games.
And you can tell. I mean, he's in charge of this offense too.
You bet. 2nd down and 5. A little bit of a hesitation there, but he's got Frederick. Second pass completion to Frederick in a row as he is going to get brought down at the 13-yard line, a gain of 6. First down, and they'll move the chains.
Yeah, that'll get the chains going here. And, good effort there by Tehaney. He kind of hesitated, pumped it a little bit there. Didn't throw it,
First down for the Blue Jays.
Took his time on that throw, I guess is the right way to say it, and jump up a little bit to see over the line, but get the ball out to Frederick and a first down.
Kind of taking a page out of the AU playbook of just, little yards at a time, 5-6-yard pass completions. Tehaney looking to throw again into the end zone. Touchdown!
Dobchek?
I believe so. I believe that was Casey Dobchek, number 27.
That was awfully close getting towards the line of scrimmage. I was worried there was going to be all too much over, but good find there by Tehaney. Good catch by Casey Dobchek, and great to see him get a touchdown in the first game here for the Jays.
So 2 possessions, last 2 possessions for the Blue Jays resulting in touchdowns. The touchdown run by Tehaney, and now the touchdown pass to Dobchek.
And Dobchek, a senior from Lincoln Way Central, had the pleasure to coach him for a year, and now he's a captain. So it's good to see guys that bought into the program, good leaders that that contributing on the field, and that's another kid that's worked his butt off throughout his 4 years here at Elmhurst.
So the extra point makes it 48-22. Favor of AU. A couple of fourth quarter touchdowns here for the Blue Jays. You are logged on to BlueJayTV.com. We're also streaming live on Livestream and YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Mark Kruger along with Jeff Torzeski. Glad to bring it to you. Blue Jay football season opener here in 2019.
Have a couple weeks where the Jays are on the road, and we'll bring it back October 5th. And we'll take on Carthage. Carthage had a tough week 1 matchup last week up in Oshkosh. One of the top end teams in that league in the WIAC, and I believe the Titans came out with a victory week 1 against Carthage.
They'll be at Carroll after next week at Augustana. That one goes out of bounds. At Augustana next week, and then 2 weeks they'll be at Carroll. And then, as Jeff mentioned, here at home on October 5th against Carthage.
Procedure penalty there on that kickoff, so it'll bring the ball up
That
to
ball
the
will be
35.
spotted on the 35-yard line. Result play is first down.
Kyle Everett, the backup quarterback, 5'11" junior. Well, now it looks like Zimbelman is back in.
Yeah, the score inches a little bit closer. You got to make sure here.
Yeah, that's what happens if the opponent scores a couple of touchdowns.
Must be a little bit of a gap between the starters and the second and third team guys.
Zimbelman is going to hand it off. Allstott breaks the tackles and he dives forward to the 41-yard line. Well, they're actually going to spot it back at the 40, so a pickup of 5.
Yeah, good second effort there by Allstott, run to the backside of his, looked like he ran to the backside of his tackle there and was able to bounce off and get some positive yards. Keeps the clock moving as well.
I think one thing, too, Jeff, that the Blue Jays have to really work on, the personal fouls have hurt them.
Yeah, they get in good situations, third downs, third and longs, make a stop or, have the attempt to make a stop, and then a penalty hurts it and gives the offense an automatic first down.
Yeah.
And cut a couple of those out, the score might be even a little bit closer.
Zimbelman under center, Allstott straight up ahead to 2 to the 42-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, here you go. I mean, there's another third down situation, and if they get off the field here and carry a little bit more momentum and inch the score even a little bit closer, but it's a really good chance here for Elmhurst to get off the field and force a 3 and out.
9:26 remaining here in the ball game. 2 wide receivers again to either side. Davis alongside Zimbelman. Zimbelman is going to screen it out to Davis. Davis is going to pick up the first down as he crosses the 45 and brought down to the 46. Boy, nice job of Davis knowing where that first down marker was at. Crosses the 45 to the 47 to pick it up.
Yeah, and that's just a quick little dump off to the running back to the right side there and spun through about 3 or 4 different tackles and was able to inch up through the first down. And like you said, he just knew where the stick was and picked up enough yards to get the first.
Listed as 5'5", 150 pounds.
Sometimes it's tough to bring guys like that down.
You're right. You're right. One Barry Sanders comes to mind, right?
Elusive, yes,
yeah,
that's the word.
That's it. 1st and 10. Allstott. And he's going to get to the 45 of Elmhurst. Brought down on the play by Daniel Jean-Baptiste.
Yeah, Allstott gets about 9 there, close to the first down, and clock continues to move here for the Aurora offense, and this is one of those drives where you don't necessarily want to score too quickly, just because you don't want to leave enough clock on for the offense for Elmhurst. So they'll take their time here. They're huddling up now and slowing down the tempo to get out of here kind of injury free, and don't necessarily need too many more points today.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't want to get anybody drastically injured here the rest of this one. It's Allstott and straight up the middle. He will pick up the first down. So they'll move the chains, and the clock will continue to go after they reset it.
And then he jogs off, and Davis comes back on for the Spartans. And I mean, this is like, you know, it was interesting. They brought the twos out, you know, the previous series and coughed up the ball right away. And, you know, now the ones are staying out and trying to put the final nail in this thing, but taking their time doing it.
Zimbelman with Davis to his left. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. He's going to hand it off to Davis to the line of scrimmage, and that's just about it. Tackled from behind by number 31, Tanner King.
Yeah, Tanner King in there. Looked like Zach Hazelhoff was in there as well for the Jays, and, you know, good reps for these guys as well.
No gain on the play, so it's still at the 42. And again, the Spartans taking as much time off the clock as they possibly can. Split out to the top of your screen, Maxwell and Harner. 2nd and 10. Zimbelman is going to hand it off to Davis, looking for some blocking ahead. He cuts it to the outside and stops out of bounds at the 38.
Yeah, so he takes himself out, out of bounds and stops the clock here and brings up a 3rd down. But, you know, need a little bit more perimeter blocking on the outside there for the Spartans to get the ball upfield. But probably a wise decision there by Davis just to take that thing out of bounds.
Yep. Actually officially spotted at the 37, so he picked up 5, which means it's going to bring up 3rd and 5 with just under 6 minutes remaining.
They went empty that last play, and now they're spread out, you know, 2 by 2 here as well.
Davis lined up there in the backfield alongside Zimbelman. A little screen out to Davis. Good job of running after the catch to pick up the 1st down all the way down to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, just quick little dump off there, and, you know, we're saying his number quite a bit, you know, this series, and it's pretty easy when you got that much speed, you know, out of the backfield to pick up substantial yards.
Boy, the two running styles from the two AU backs, they're contrasting styles, but they play off each other so well. Davis, your quick guy, and of course Allstott, your powerful running type of back.
Yeah, and both you can say are efficient. You know, they're in specific situations for a reason, and, you know, obviously in a situation like this where you're trying to chew up as much clock as possible, you can use either one right now. But, you know, in terms of the injury front, it's good to see him get up onto his own power there. I believe that's Dakota Flaw.
Looks like it's number 53.
Oh, 53, yeah. I'm sorry. So that's Nate
Lusky.
Okay. Yep.
Sophomore from Haslett, Michigan. Boy, this Blue Jay defense, they've been out here for a while.
Yeah, Nate's a sophomore from Haslett, and same hometown there as Jake Tahaney. Good pipeline between Haslett, Michigan, and Elmhurst College. There's been a good number of Haslett players in the past to come through here as well.
Good crowd on hand here this afternoon at Langhorst Field for the Blue Jays season opener. Gorgeous afternoon to watch a football game. Zimbelman again working out of the gun. Blue Jay defense shifts a little bit. This is Allstott. Flag comes down. Allstott goes down back at the 35.
Taking a look here at the monitor for the replay, probably something up front here on Aurora, but it could be even, you know, based off of that jump. See what the call is here.
Personal foul, tripping, number 69 in the offense. That foul being forced 15 yards from the previous spot. Down remains, first down.
A little bit of a leg whip there, or a trip.
Oscar Nava, the starting left guard for the Spartans. guilty of the tripping violation, brings the ball back to the 46.
That's a tough one. He had his back to the play there. And
yeah.
Don't necessarily, I mean, I guess if anything to help aid the defense there a little bit, but that's probably one of those 50-50 calls that could have went either way.
Long way to go here for AU. We'll see if Zimmelman puts it up and in the air. 1st and 25. Well, they got 3 wide receivers now to the top.
They go empty here,
yeah, but now a timeout, and the Spartans want to talk things over.
Coach Beebe didn't like something there.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, while we got an opportunity here, special thanks to the Sports Information Director here at Elmhurst College, Kevin Jude, for providing us with all the stats, the rosters, the game notes. We appreciate all his efforts here today. Our crew of Glenn Liljeberg and Dennis Bergen doing a great job as always here today.
Yeah, we got soccer at 5 o'clock here too. The Elmhurst women's soccer team, led by Paul Webster, they're taking on Hope College tonight. And they just actually the Elmhurst women defeated Aurora the other night 2-1 with a goal right at the last second. The game was in Aurora as well, I believe. So,
speaking of Hope, Aurora University will be at Hope next weekend.
Holland, Michigan.
I have been there before. Beautiful, beautiful town.
And they're still empty right here, are the Spartans.
Still the same formation after the timeout here. 1st and 25. Send a man in motion. Zimmelman is going to hand it to Davis, who was the motion man. And, boy, he gets whipped around and brought down at the 40-yard line. Just a pickup of 6. 2nd down and 19 now for AU.
John Baptiste with the stop there for the Jays. He's a product of Thornton Fractional South, freshman, getting some playing time early here. So still 2nd and a ways to go here, but, to be quite honest, that probably doesn't, matter too much offensively here for the Spartans, just chewing the clock out.
Two wide receivers to the top, one to the bottom of your monitor. 2nd down and 19. Davis gets the carry again, and he'll get to the 36. Call it a gain of 4. 3rd down and 15 now.
Yeah, 3rd and 15, and you're on the right side of the 50 here, but obviously no hurry, and you got just over 3 minutes to go. So, if probably put something up in the air, and honestly for them it's still probably 4-down territory, but looks like Davis is shaken up a little bit, unfortunately, for the Spartans.
Maybe cramping up here a bit. Not sure if that's what's happening, but could very well be.
Definitely got a little bit hotter than it was supposed to be. I think the high was supposed to be like 75 or 74 today, and at least in here it feels a lot hotter.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's always 10 degrees hotter in here, no matter what.
Again, the next game for the Blue Jays, we talked about, they'll be up in Rock Island to take on Augustana next week. 6 o'clock is the kickoff for that one. And Davis off under his own power, so that's a good sign for Travis.
Night game at Augie. It's always kind of the staple there. They always like playing night games out there for whatever reason. So,
great football town, isn't it? All right, so Davis walks off the field after the injury. 2nd down, check that, 3rd down. 15 yards to go. Allstott straight up the middle, and he gets tackled at the 30-yard line. 4th down, 10 yards to go.
Yeah, so clearly 4th down territory here, but again, taking their time. I'm guessing they'll keep the offense on the field, and where they're at in the clock, 2:40 to go here. It's interesting, what you do in this situation.
Yeah.
You can't fault them either way for whatever play call they're going to do here, whatever they come out of the huddle with.
going to pass up a 47-yard field goal attempt that would put them over 50 points for the game. Instead, they're going to go for it here on 4th down and 9. Zimmelman brings down the high snap, hands it off to Allstott, and he will get close to the 25. Short, well short, obviously, of the first down. So the Blue Jays will get the ball back here with 2:10 remaining in the game.
Yeah, so 2:10, you got a little bit of time here to move the ball down the field, and we'll see who comes out personnel-wise for the Jays. I mean, you might see Noah Henkel come in at quarterback potentially. He's a freshman from Wheaton South, highly touted recruit that Elmhurst got, but it could still be Tehaney and the boys, and sure enough, it is. So first team still out here for the Jays.
From their own 25-yard line here, trailing 48-22. Tehaney looking to throw, now gets flushed out here to the near side, and he's going to tuck it under and scamper out of bounds.
Out of bounds near side.
Yeah, and that's that speed we talk about all game. He takes a look at the first read, nothing there, and still has the poise to take a look downfield, but as soon as there's too much pressure, he's able to wheel out and pick up some yardage to make it a second and manageable.
So this will be the 5th time in the season history with these two teams that AU would have beaten the Blue Jays. Tehaney, pass, and this one is picked off by number 31. That is Jackson Howarth, but there is penalty flags down here.
Yeah, Howarth on the pick for the Spartans. I'm not sure what we got for a penalty here, but I think that's just a matter of him not seeing Tehaney seeing Howarth there. I mean, that was just kind of blanketed coverage there. Dobchuk was the intended receiver, but he had no chance of catching that ball.
Looks like it's a post-possession penalty after the pick of Howarth.
Yeah, so you got 149 here, and if AU does in fact end up with the ball here, they'll be able to just run this thing out.
Yeah. Officials are explaining.
Personal foul, blindside block on the offense after the interception. That foul being forced 15 yards from the succeeding spot. Result of the play is first down for Aurora.
Yeah, so down to the 15 here for the Spartans, and
we
plenty
talked
of time here just to
we
run it out.
Talked about it earlier. Another personal foul against the Blue Jays that they need to eliminate for future games.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. I mean, that's just shortening the field even more, but you got the Spartans lining up here in victory and be able to run this thing out.
Take a knee here a couple of times here. So the AU Spartans, they'll, boy, I tell you what, they're opening some eyes around the area. It's going to be 2-0.
And it's surprising too. We talked about the 50-40 win last week and knocking off a top-ranked opponent, and they actually, they received a few votes in the D3.com top 25, but actually St. Norbert still had more receiving votes than them, even though they lost.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
And you can tell that's a lot of times where, they're just looking at final scores and not seeing the whole picture there. And this is a team that down the stretch here in the Northern Athletics Conference, they're going to be definitely winning some games in that league and potentially could be an NCAA tournament team, come November.
So the Blue Jays, after defeating AU last year on the road, they're going to fall to the Spartans this year here at Langhorst Field.
Yeah, one more knee will do it.
Yep.
But, there's a lot of positives to take out of this for Elmhurst. I mean, there's definitely a lot of speed on the defensive side of things, and, the ability to tackle on the outside. There's a lot of promise there defensively, and leadership offensively with Tehaney. I thought Womack ran the ball quite well today as well, and a couple of glimmers of good runs there by Bethke as well. So, I mean, there's definitely things to improve on, but, there's a good foundation for Elmhurst football after week 1.
So the clock winding down here, the two teams walking along midfield to shake hands. AU will improve to 2-0, Blue Jays 0-1 to start the 2019 season. Jeff, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Appreciate it. Great job today.
Great working with you, and we got four more of these throughout the fall, and I'm looking forward to it. So
next game here at Langhorst Field will be October 5th against Carthage. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff. So for our entire crew, for Jeff Torzeski, Mark Kruger saying so long. From Langhorst Field, the Spartans of Aurora University knock off the Blue Jays by a score of 48-22. You are logged on to BlueJayTV.com. So long, everybody.